Chapter 28:10. I am your ancestor. Chapter 28:10. I am your ancestor. Ghastly soldiers wrapped around his body. Tandapeo's soul-cracking curse attack. Cerebral laceration, slow reaction. In the dark, after 12 o'clock, it was a new day, and H could summon his power. H enlarged it, and a magical crystal arrow shot out. Lien Wenchao was stunned for 5 seconds. Step by step, he fell in a long phase trap. However, the only thing that happened was that Lien Wenchao's cultivation level exceeded long phase expectations and was much stronger than he expected. Not much HP lost after being hit by H's arrow. Under these circumstances, 3 seconds of time was too short for Long Fei to use a skill or two like in the game. His cultivation was too low, and he could not do too much in a short period of time. For this, he could only take out the 300-pound ball. At that moment, Long Fei's right hand moved, and suddenly threw it towards Lien Wenchao, imitating how it looked in the treasure equals of equals holy equals artifact equals go Pikachu. Definitely hit. Tandapeo was startled. Damn, Brother Fei is Brother Fei. So this is what you want to use to buy the heavens and steel. Hi, it's really high. Tandapeo was extremely impressed. A 300-kilogram ball was heavily thrown in Lien Wenchao's face. Bam! Direct hit. The dazed Lien Wenchao also instantly fell to the ground, screaming in pain. But Long Fei's heart sank. Crap. There was no change to the summoning ball. He did not release the holy artifact treasure and did not release anything. Did I make a mistake? There's no reason. It's my favorite cartoon in the orphanage when I was young. I've always dreamed of having such a summoning ball. The patterns are the same as the ones in the cartoon. Am I wrong? Long Fei muttered in his heart. There was no description of this large metal ball system. Is it a summoning ball? Long Fei didn't know either. However, whether it was a summoning ball or not, it was not the point whether it could summon the holy artifact or not. The main point was, as the 300-kilogram iron ball smashed onto Lien Wenchao's body, the pain immediately disappeared, and he fell to the ground in a flash. He suddenly turned around and stood up. The mystic Qilin in his eyes seemed as if it was about to step forward step by step. The cruel look in his eyes made it seem like he was eating people alive. Long Fei's eyes darkened. What the F ******? Seems like I'll have to take it head on. Tandapeo's right arm quickly rotated, and the energy released a loud, buzzing sound. You too. Die. Lien Wenchao was furious to the extreme. The aura on his body exploded. Explosions rang out as strength stripes that could be seen with the naked eye shot out one after another. The Qilin roared in the air. With this roar, he instantly charged towards Long Fei. Long Fei secretly thought, beaten magic power. His body sank. Under his sleeve, his left hand secretly lowered. Wong! A purplish-black flame appeared in his palm like a vortex of stars. Ancient Inheritance, 3rd level. Dark Nether Flame. The power of the Ancient Inheritance was released. Long Fei's chest felt as if it was about to explode. The God Tribe's curse mark shone with a dark light, and Long Fei's mind sank. It was also at this time, Lien Wenchao struck his palm towards Long Fei's head. The power of the illusory Qilin also completely crushed him. Too fast. Tandapeo couldn't react at all. Long Fei was the same. 1 second was still 10 meters away. This second had already struck his head, but Long Fei's level was not high. But his subconscious reacted very quickly. The instant Lien Wenchao's palm fell, Long Fei's left hand also collided with it. Dark Nether Flame. Boom! The two palms collided. Lien Wenchao's eyes were filled with disdain, and he said disdainfully, "Even a trash like you dares to go against me? You overestimate yourself." Not waiting for him to finish, his eyes suddenly became cold as a black flame wrapped around his right hand. His arm turned black wherever the flame passed, just like charcoal. At this moment, his holy vein illusory Qilin let out waves of painful wails. No, no, no! Lien Wenchao's eyes angrily glared as he quickly looked back at his blackened arm. before looking at the purplish-black flames on Long Fei's left hand. His chest was flashing with light. Lien Wenchao's voice trembled. You, are you? Who exactly are you? His heart was filled with fear. Moreover, the black flames continued to burn continuously. The health on top of his head was also continuously decreasing. He couldn't stop at all. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, I am your ancestor. Without waiting for Lien Wenchao to speak, Long Fei rushed forward fiercely. While he was sick, he had to die. Just now, when they met, Long Fei looked to be fine, but his left hand was in less pain than Lien Wenchao, the only difference being that his left hand still existed. Even his mind was violently churning. When the strength of magical Kylan blood combined with Lien Wenchao's own strength, he simply could not withstand it. It was just that, at this time, they definitely could not let Lien Wenchao escape. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble in the future. Because, once the people from God's tribe found out he was here, if those God's tribe dogs found out about his position, he would definitely die. Black and White had to use a lot of energy to collect the seal's imprint of the curse on their entire body. Even if it was used on them, it wouldn't explode, but the power of the ancient inheritance was different. Long Fei had already felt it just now. His chest felt like it was about to split open. If Lien Wenchao told everyone what he saw, he would be in dire straits. He wasn't strong enough yet. Not yet. He still needed time to develop in such a wretched manner. Seeing Long Fei rushing over, Lien Wenchao's eyes narrowed, and he said solemnly, You want to kill me? You're not qualified. He endured the pain. The power in his body exploded out once more, but this time, he did not rush towards Long Fei. Instead, he leaped heavily in midair and somersaulted fiercely. Whoosh! He jumped out of the alley and landed on the main street. Lien Wenchao said with a heavy voice, Long Fei, this matter is not over. He leaped again. Lien Wenchao did not dare to stay, because his right hand was completely dead and he did not feel anything. Furthermore, the black flames were still spreading like poison. He had to hurry back to the Lien family. We can't let him escape, Long Fei said anxiously. Tandapeo kept locking onto him, but none of them hit. Just as Lien Wenchao was about to disappear, suddenly, the huge iron ball that weighed 300 kilograms suddenly let out a series of kacha-kacha sounds. Pikachu. Following this voice, a bolt of lightning struck down from the pitch-black night sky. Pah! Lien Wenchao screamed miserably. Hit! However, the system did not sound out a notification sound, which meant that Lien Wenchao was still alive. He had already disappeared into the darkness. If he wanted to chase after him, he wouldn't be able to. However, Long Fei was not worried, because Lien Wenchao was about to die. By the time he left, his HP had already run low. He should have been able to deal enough damage with that lightning strike. Right now, Long Fei was waiting for a system beep. Chapter 2811, Exposure. Chapter 2811, Exposure. Black blood sprayed out wildly. Save me. Quick, save me. Dad. Grandfather, quickly save me. Lien family. Lien Wenchao stumbled. Half of his body had already turned black. It was a complete disaster. Right now, he could only rely on the power of the blood vein to survive. Not long later, Lien family was brightly lit. Lien Wuji anxiously walked out and looked at Lien Wenchao, who was lying on the ground with half of his body turned black. His pupils trembled, his body became unsteady, and he flew over. Wenchao, what happened to you? It was also at this time. Lien Wuji quickly grabbed onto the vein on Lien Wenchao's left hand, and his pupils suddenly shrank. There was no throbbing. Half of Lien Wenchao's mouth had now turned black, and the purplish-black flames were still spreading. Chower! A beautiful woman ran out in a hurry. As she looked at Lien Wenchao, who had turned into a human, looking like he was not even a ghost, tears started to roll down her cheeks uncontrollably. Lien Wuji quickly said, Please, Grand Patriarch. Quick, go invite the Grand Patriarch. He panicked as well. The few elders ran out in a fluster. Without waiting for them to run out of the hall, A white-haired old man suddenly appeared beside Lien Wenchao like a white Qilin. Looking at the purplish-black flames on Lien Wenchao's body, his eyes were also filled with suspicion. "What's going on?" Even Limitless said, I don't know. "Father, save Wenchao, save him." Lien Kaijiang flipped his right hand, and an extremely thick breath of true spirit appeared in his body. Once it was injected, the purplish-black flames on Lien Wenchao's body started to burn crazily, and Lien Wenchao was in even greater pain than if he were to die. He couldn't even scream. Lien Kaijiang's eyes were filled with rage. The muscles at the corner of his eyes twitched, and his fury seemed to want to burst the entire hall. "Who is it?" His rage reached the heavens. Lien Wenchao's voice was stuck in his throat as he said, "Grandfather, grandfather, take revenge. Take revenge for me." It was too tiring. His voice was as thin as a thread, and his life slowly ended. The HP on the top of his head also turned to 0. At the same moment, his left hand gently drew a strange pattern on the floor. Lien Kaijiang looked at the pattern beneath his finger. He suddenly stood up, his entire body shivered, and his cultivation immediately exploded, as though he was facing a great enemy. God's tribe's curse mark. Is there anyone in East Imperial City that God's tribe wants to kill? Boom! Lien Kaijiang's eyes shone brightly, and the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of excitement and malevolence. The Lien family's chance is here. The God's tribe curse marks were no stranger to many experts. He could tell who it was with a glance, because this imprint is likely to bring you unexpected surprises. In the East Imperial City, and even in every single clan in the entire universal boundary, every single sect and power would wish to establish a relationship with the God's tribe, because the God's tribe is the ruler of the entire universal boundary, possessing the strongest power in the world. Thus, Emperor Xian ordered for of 10,000 realms to chase after Long Fei. As for the Lien family, as long as they could take down the person this God's tribe wanted to kill, or provide them with any clues, then they would instantly become nobles of the East Imperial City, and they would even be able to rule over the entire East Imperial City. This was a huge opportunity. Lien Kaijiang looked at the Lien Wenchao, whose body had already turned into charcoal, and said faintly, "As expected of my Lien family's descendant, I will definitely use his head to accompany you in death. Pass down my orders. I will not let go of any places where literary talent has appeared." Even Limitless stood up, and with a loud grunt, he said, "Yes." Ding! Suddenly, a system beep sounded out. Long Fei's eyes moved. He became excited. Fuck, it finally exploded. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lien Wenchao for obtaining 120,000 experience, 3,000 true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Only the sound of a notification rang out. There was no more sound. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. He opened up the system and waited for several minutes, but nothing else came out. His gaze darkened, and he could not help but mutter, "System F******ku. It's a small boss after all. Nothing dropped. It doesn't matter. But what about the magical Kylan blood? Where's the magical Kylan blood? Your sister." The most important thing for Long Fei to kill was the Qilin blood vein, but it had not burst out. He wanted to use Lien Wenchao's Qilin beast to let Lan Mei break through the blockages in his veins. But it hadn't dropped yet. Lan Mei only had half a year of lifespan. If she did not break through, then she would die. Where could he go to recruit Holy Vein? Tan DePeo walked over and asked, "Brother Fei, how is it?" Long Fei secretly locked the space between his brows and said faintly, "It should have been solved by now. Let's go back first. Go and check it out tomorrow." Long Fei retrieved the 300-kilogram iron ball back into the space ring. He had also heard the voice just now from the iron ball. "Pikachu, it should be a summoning ball." It was also because of one of his bolts of lightning that caused Lien Wenchao to die faster. It should have been a happy thing. However, Long Fei couldn't get happy no matter how hard he tried. Without the holy vein, Lan Mei's clogged tendons and veins were... Tendapeo looked at the hidden lock between Long Fei's brows, and did not ask any further. In fact, he really wanted to know how Long Fei found out about Lien Wenchao's death. After all, there were still many streets away from Lien family. And then again, what was up with that huge magical crystal arrow? How could the 150 kilograms of heaven's end-grade steel emit cracking sounds? What was that lightning doing? He really wanted to know. But since Long Fei didn't say it, he didn't ask either. At this moment, Long Fei still did not know about the matter of the curse mark on his chest being exposed. Long Fei left. In the dark, Gui Daozi's ghostly eyes moved slightly as he thought to himself, Interesting, interesting. No wonder Lord Ghost King had set his eyes on him. Lord Ghost King is indeed worthy of being called Lord Ghost King. He truly possesses some sort of sacred art power. God's tribe's curse mark. If this information is sold to the God's tribe, can I from the Ghost Temple? Gui Daozi smiled faintly. He did not want to do this, even if he had to die. He did not want to kneel and lick God's tribe. Kid, don't worry. In the future, your life will be even more important to me than mine. Gui Daozi's figure disappeared into the night. At the base of the city wall, Elder Swordsman looked up into the night sky, and his brows knitted tightly. God's tribe's curse mark's aura, could it be? There is still one more person in East Imperial City that was chased after by God's tribe? Who is it? How could it let the aura of the God's tribe's curse mark explode? Elder Swordsman looked at his chest. He secretly clenched his fists. A cold light flashed from the corner of his eyes as his killing intent soared to the heavens. Chapter 28:12. Vajra emerges from seclusion. Chapter 28:12. Vajra emerges from seclusion. Who is he? Why are you being chased? Seems like there are people with the same fate as me in East Imperial City. Elder Swordsman smiled faintly in his heart as he looked towards the sky and muttered, God's tribe, high and mighty, sooner or later, there will be a day when I'll take down 3,000 miles of blood-wash heavenly palace. A golden light flashed in his eyes. His eyes were golden. It was like a strange monster. In another place, in the ancient world, Chaos Domain, the 8 heaven pillar pierced into the sky, as if they were the ones who supported the 8 heaven pillar. The environment here was extremely bad. Even if it was the decision to go to Powerhouse S, it would still be difficult to survive. Even though this was an ancient original world, it was still the most dangerous place. Every part of it contained danger and chaos laws. Suddenly, rumble, a heaven pillar gently swayed. The world shook. Rumble, another violent tremor rang out. The heaven pillar swayed again, and then, kacha, kacha, kacha. The heaven pillar's body continued to crack. The cracks instantly covered the entire heaven pillar. In an instant, rumble, bang, with a loud sound, a heaven pillar collapsed from the sky. At the same time, a golden dot of light flew out from the heaven pillar. Buzz, golden rays of light exploded as a person appeared in midair. Big Baldy. The muscles throughout his body were like cast copper water. His eyebrows were like swords, while his eyes were like bells. The golden stripes on his bald head moved faintly. He held the Vajra axe in his hand. With a height of 2.5 meters, he seemed to give off a huge impact, and every part of his body radiated with immense power. The only thing that seemed to be lacking was the fact that there was nothing on his back. King Kong, Brother Yuan Ba, you finally succeeded, huh? Brother Yuan Ba, quickly go find boss. Overturn God's tribe. Ha-ha! 8 God's tribe S, 8 King Kong S. The one that just broke out from the body was the great Vajra, Li Yuanba. His whole body was golden, like a lord of Buddha. Li Yuanba gave a silly smile and said, Brothers and sisters, don't say too much. I'll be leaving first. He did not say that he sensed that Long Fei was in danger. He did not want the other 7 King Kongs to worry, as this would affect their cultivation. To return to one's homeland through death and reincarnation. They were the 8 heaven pillar in the ancient world, and they followed Long Fei in their last life. It was just that at that time, Long Fei was too mischievous and was suppressed by the repression of boundary stones. In the cycle of reincarnation, they followed again. He couldn't protect her in his past life. In this life, they were definitely going to do everything they could, including both heaven and earth. Brother Yuan Ba, where's your coffin? That's right. Where's the sarcophagus on your back? Where did he go? Li Yuanba said naively. You will meet again the next time we meet. After 100 years, I finally found out what exactly is inside the sarcophagus. Brothers, I'm leaving first. All the best. I'll wait for you guys to return to your positions. As soon as he finished, a golden light flashed. The chaotic domain retracted abruptly, and the remaining 7-heaven pillar quieted down once more. They also wanted to break through their shackles as soon as possible after the successful cultivation of the King Kong. Returned to Long Fei's side earlier. God's tribe, Myriad Spirit Palace. A huge mirror illuminated the world. At this moment, a golden light appeared in the mirror. The golden light of the heaven pillar has broken through its shackles. Have the 8-heaven pillar already mastered it in 100 years? Inform the Emperor Xian immediately. Should we send someone to kill him? Whether it is their families or any other forces in the ancient world, either they obey our orders completely, or they stay in the ancient land and are never allowed to take even half a step out. This is the rule. An elder said, Tell Emperor Xian first. Let's see what he has to say. A guard from the violet gold armor flew out. Half a minute later, the violet gold armor's guard brought back a word, kill. The few elders stood up and immediately replied, Understood. Tianwu, Tianwei, you will lead 8,000 violet gold god guard-s. Kill. 2 violet gold god guard-s walked out and hugged their hands together. As you command. Not long later, 8,000 guards wearing violet gold armor-s flew out of the heavenly palace in unison. The scene was like a purple sky. The gates to the heavenly palace opened. Violet gold god guard disappeared in the blink of an eye. The God's tribe does not allow any uncontrollable force to enter the world we control. The universal boundary is under the control of my God's tribe, so no one is allowed to leave this area. Although ancient world is a maternal original world, it's still the same. You want to escape our control? Die. This was the rule of God's tribe. Kneel down or die. Dragon Abyss Dungeon. Long Zhanting raised his head slightly to look at the dark sky. His eyes flashed with a bright light, and he muttered, In 100 years, Diamond Heaven Pillar has mastered the Tao. God's tribe, you can't stop the change this time. Ha! Long Zhanting started to laugh maniacally. While he was laughing, the dragon-locked chain contracted yet again, and fresh blood gushed out. Long Zhanting frowned on the inside, but continued to laugh crazily. I can't cover this day any longer, ha ha ha. Emperor Xian, you can't stop it. At this moment, the next day, East Imperial City. Brother Fei, all 307 whorehouses have disappeared in one night. Tandapeo walked in anxiously. He locked onto the space between his eyebrows. Long Fei was also secretly startled. He had thought that the Lin family would have ordinary leads, but he never thought that it would be so cruel and use such a large amount of power. It was beyond imagination. Tandapeo said, Lin family is investigating the place Lin Wenchao went to. The last place he appeared was the whorehouse. Now, the whorehouse has become a land of death. Next, the place he appears in is our Lan clan. Will it? Not waiting for him to finish. A burst of noise came from outside the Lan clan. Take them all. Those who resist will be killed without question. The main gate of the Lan clan was instantly controlled by the disciples of the Lin family. A few elders of the Lin family who were donned in armor rushed into the Lan clan and directly rushed to the main hall of the Lan clan. It was also at this time, Lin family disciples crazily rushed in. Seemingly in an instant, the entire Lan clan was occupied. Lan Mei quickly rushed over. Who dares to be so presumptuous? A group of Lan clan elders followed behind her. Lonnie whispered a few words into the ears of a Lin family elder. Lin Wenhai's finger moved, and he said coldly, Capture them all. Those who resist will die. A large wave of Lin family disciples rushed towards Lan Mei. Lan Mei frowned. The expressions of the Lan clan elders all changed. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? What exactly happened? There must be a misunderstanding. The elders, disciples, and even the servants of the Lan clan were all restrained, and the entire family was taken down in an instant. Lan Mei was surrounded. The corner of Lan He's mouth rose slightly. That's her. Lien Wenhai coldly snorted and said, "Strip her clothes for me." Lan He was slightly taken aback. A Lien family disciple immediately rushed forward. It was also at this time. Long Fei rushed out. "Let's see who dares." Lien Wenhai didn't even look at it, and directly disregarded it. Grab! The aura from Long Fei's body moved to protect Lan Mei. Tan DePeo placed his finger on the trigger. Right at this moment, Fu Shishan walked into the Lan clan, and at this moment, a disciple of the business alliance of Fu family quickly rushed in. Fu Shishan smiled faintly and said, "Elder Lien, this battle situation is a bit scary, isn't it?" Chapter 28:13 Power. Chapter 28:13 Power. The influence of a first-tier clan was incomparably huge. Furthermore, they do not need to explain anything to you. They kill people just like they say they do, and they trample over people just like they do. Lan clan was like this now. They didn't even have time to react before they were controlled by the Lien family. Moreover, to strip off the clothes of the Lan clan's patriarch, Lan Mei, in front of all the disciples of the Lan clan. What was this? Arrogant. No one from Lan clan dared to move. Long Fei rushed out and blocked in front of Lan Mei. Lien Wenhai's eyes turned cold. He did not even look at Long Fei and gently waved his finger. "Strip him." Long Fei's eyes darkened. As long as the disciples of Lien family dared to come up, he would make his move. However, in that instant, Fu Shishan walked in with the disciples of the business alliance of Fu family and a few other elders, one of them being the vice chairman of the alchemy union. Fu Shishan smiled faintly and said, "Elder Wu Hai, what are you doing with such a large lineup?" Lien Wenhai's eyes became cold as he muttered, "Business alliance of Fu family?" Fu Shishan had a smile on his face as he said, "I am Fu Shishan." Lien Wenhai did not buy it and said, "I don't care if you're Fu Shishan or someone else. Your business alliance of Fu family will do your business properly. Don't mess with me, understand?" Fu Shishan smiled and said, "What Elder Wu Hai said is true. The rules of our business alliance of Fu family is also like this. I am here to discuss business with the Lan clan." Business? Bringing so many people to discuss business? He also brought a few respected elders from East Imperial City with him. Even the vice chairman of the Alchemy Union had brought him here. Fu Shishan said, "I presume you have heard about the Zhongling pills. The Zhongling pills came from the Lan clan, and today I have come to sign the contract with the patriarch of the Lan clan, Lan Mei." Lien Wenhai's eyes waited for Fu Shishan as he coldly said, "Pavilion Master Fu, I don't care who you signed the contract with. Even if young master was killed yesterday, anyone who has come into contact with him must die. Or house is like this. Lan clan is the same." After Lan clan, Lien Wenhai raised his eyes and stared at Fu Shishan. He did not say anything, but most of the people present thought of the next place. Business alliance of Fu family. Lien Wenchao also appeared at the auction venue. Thus, business alliance of Fu family was also responsible. On the surface, Fu Shishan did not seem to care and said, "I am deeply sad that you were even killed. If there is anything that requires my business alliance of Fu family's assistance, we will definitely cooperate fully. But speaking of evidence, my East Imperial City isn't an East Imperial City, right?" Lien Wenhai sneered and said, "My Lien family never tells you about evidence. If you dare to stop me, Pavilion Master Fu, then you're going to be going against me, Lien family." Fu Shishan tensed up. This time, sending someone to Lan clan had violated the rules of the merchant union. No matter what happens, the business alliance of Fu family is not allowed to interfere in local affairs. However, if she did not appear, Long Fei very likely would have died. She did not take anyone else to heart, but Long Fei was someone she definitely cared about. It was not only because of the Zhongling pills he provided, but also because he was called Long Fei. What Fu Shishan did not expect was that Lien Wenhai would not give up. In terms of wealth, the business alliance of Fu family was stronger than the Lien family. However, in terms of strength, the business alliance of Fu family was not a match for the Lien family. At this moment, the vice chairman of the Alchemy Union walked out and said, "Elder Lien Wenchao's death is indeed a pity. The fall of a genius is a huge blow to the Lien family. The winter is approaching, and it is crucial that we unite to face the outside world." An old man also stepped forward. "Vice chairman is right. We will definitely do our best to pursue this matter. As far as I know, Lien Wenchao only stayed in the Lien family for a short while before leaving." The elders that Fu Shishan had brought with him all had quite a strong backer. Lien Wenhai frowned. He looked at the people in the courtyard. Fu Shishan said, "Business alliance of Fu family is willing to contribute 10 million for the bounty." Lien Wenhai slowly stood up. The spirit chi on his body slowly moved one hand, looked at Fu Shishan, and then lightly said, "Then I will thank Pavilion Master Fu for the 10 million. Just as he was speaking, boom! A surge of power erupted. The moment his aura exploded, a buzzing sound could be heard. Lien Wenhai's right hand turned into a claw and suddenly attacked. It instantly grabbed at Lan Mei's chest. Lan Mei was the main suspect because he had heard some news about the Lan clan. Lan Mei possessed a holy vein. Could it be that this woman had been concealing herself all along? Furthermore, Lien Wenchao had been frivolous to her, so it was normal for him to have the intent to kill. The attack was as fast as lightning. Lan Mei did not have a martial arts training, so she did not have any reaction at all. However, the instant Long Fei stood up, he guessed that they were going to attack. When Lien Wenhai's figure suddenly disappeared, there was the sound of a qilin roaring in the air. He instantly charged forward. Long Fei tensed up. Is it also a qilin blood vein? Seems like the Lien family is a qilin blood veins inheritance family. There's still hope. Immediately, Long Fei's body sank. His mind was protected, and he released the full power of the general level to its limits. He stood protectively in front of Lan Mei and used both of his palms to heavily meet the attack. Humph. Something that doesn't know its limits. With just you want to block me? Lien Wenhai said in a heavy voice. The claw once again transformed into a palm and slashed towards Long Fei. Bam! With both palms facing off, a series of explosive sounds came from the joints of Long Fei's arms. The joints were fractured, and his entire right arm was almost detached from his body, as he also retreated explosively in an instant. From his arm to his whole body, the power Lien Wenhai released was rampaging within his body. It was as if his body was unceasingly crumbling. An indescribable pain. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, Long Fei's face had also become extremely pale. His body staggered as he crashed into the wall several meters away, and the wall cracked. Long Fei barely managed to stabilize his body. Seeing Long Fei like this, Long Fei. Lan Mei's gaze tensed up, and he called out, "Long Fei." It was just that before her, Fu Shishan exclaimed out loud in advance. Tan DePeo glared, "Fuck your ancestors." He pulled the trigger, and the two large cannonballs shot towards Lien Wenhai. However, Lien Wenhai didn't even look at it as he waved his sleeves and sent the cannonball flying. "Long Fei, are you all right? Don't scare me." Fu Shishan was about to burst into tears. She didn't know why, but seeing Long Fei getting injured, in her heart, she felt that the Long Fei in front of her was the man in her heart. Long Fei's voice was a little hoarse as she said, "In nothing." His whole body was in pain. His internal organs felt as though they were about to break apart from the frenzied rampage of his strength. His health point was declining crazily. Lien Wenhai was so much stronger than Lien Wenchao. Clashing head-on like this, Long Fei ate all of Lien Wenhai's strength, causing his general level to be unable to hold on. Fu Shishan's heart could not take it anymore, and roared angrily as though he was going crazy. He turned his gaze, stared straight at Lien Wenhai, and said, "If he dies, I will make your Lien family disappear from this world, and I, Fu Shishan, will keep my word. Chapter 28:14 Infuriation. Chapter 28:14 Infuriation. The flames of fury burned. Being stared at by Fu Shishan, S mind started to turn cold. The surrounding people were also slightly startled. Fu Shishan had always been a smiling businessman. She had never been hostile towards anyone, nor did she offend anyone. In the eyes of many people in East Imperial City, she was someone who did not cause any harm. However, her words just now had completely overturned everyone's understanding of her. His eyes were filled with ferocity. It was as if her weakest part had been pierced. Because of Long Fei, she missed it in God's martial continent. Here, she would never miss another chance. The feeling of having Long Fei in front of the man in her heart was uncontrollable. The muscles at the corner of Lien Wenhai's eyes twitched slightly. How arrogant. I really want to see how you make my Lien family disappear from this world. What my Lien family wants to do, no one in this East Imperial City can stop it. As soon as he finished, Lien Wenhai stared at Lan Mei once again and grabbed at him with one hand. Lan Mei's face changed. The faces of the elders of the Lan clan all became ashen, and they did not dare to move even an inch. Long Fei's body sank. Bam! He stomped on the wall with his hind legs and flew up once more. Fu Shishan's face changed greatly. He wanted to hold her back, but he did not expect Long Fei to make a breakthrough and rush forward again, shouting out, "Long Fei, do you want to die?" Long Fei moved his right fist. Imimpi! Boom! A loud bang echoed out from within his body. Below the dragon-shaped mark, a tiny bit of power moved. Circulate to your right fist. The palm struck forward once more. Lien Wenhai's eyes turned sinister as he said coldly, "You must be tired of living, right? Then this old man shall grant you your wish and die." Fu Shishan's pupils suddenly tightened. No. Lan Mei also took a step forward. Tan DePeo continuously pulled the trigger, but his energy cannon couldn't hurt Lien Wenhai at all. The level difference was too big. Long Fei landed, took a horse stance, and struck his right hand with a loud sound. Then let's see who King dies first. Boom! The two palms collided. Bang! A muffled sound of energy colliding exploded above Lan Clan. A series of explosions resounded in the courtyard. Long Fei retreated. However, he did not stagger like before, but the Qilin power in Lien Wenhai's palm crazily rushed into Long Fei's body. Adding the power that he had just released, Long Fei's body felt extremely uncomfortable. His aura roiled. He tried his best to hold it in. On the other hand, Lien Wenhai fiercely flew out and landed on the ground. He rolled continuously, and in the end was knocked onto the stairs. His internal organs had also been dislocated, and he was feeling incomparable discomfort. The entire audience was stunned. Lien Wenhai was an expert of the Lien family, with an unfathomable cultivation. Yet he was sent flying like this with just a single palm from Long Fei. Everyone was dumbfounded. How is this possible? What just happened? How can he knock Lien Wenhai down with a single muggle? Are you seeing things? Lien Wenhai struggled to get up from the ground, his expression extremely ugly. However, right at this moment, Long Fei said with a heavy voice, "Your mother, come again. Let's see who dies first." Boom! Their auras were like a rainbow. If life and death were indifferent to it, then it was a dead end. Especially Long Fei's pair of eyes, which were filled with savageness and ruthlessness. The vicious gaze in his eyes seemed to want to swallow Lien Wenhai whole. The Qilin blood vein in Lien Wenhai's body suddenly shrank. Lien Wenhai squinted his eyes and stared straight at Long Fei. Long Fei roared again, "Come! Isn't your Lien family arrogant? Let's see who kills who first today." The entire courtyard, with its hundreds of Lien family's elites, was completely stunned by Long Fei alone. With a single palm, he sent Lien Wenhai flying. Fu Shishan also quickly walked up and said solemnly, "Disciples of the Fu clan, listen up. If Lien family makes another move, kill him." The vice chairman of the Alchemy Union hurriedly walked out and said, "Misunderstanding. There must be a misunderstanding." I can guarantee that young Master's death has nothing to do with the Lan clan. Even young Master is a Qilin genius. There isn't anyone in the Lan clan that can kill him. Lien Wenhai did not speak, but instead stared coldly at Long Fei. Swinging his sleeves, he said heavily, "If I do not change, I will have plenty of time in the future. Let's go." While they were talking, Lien Wenhai strode out of Lan clan. His speed was extremely fast. Lonnie dragged his body and followed behind Lien Wenhai. After exiting the Lan clan, he could not help but ask, "Master, why did you not take him down?" Not waiting for him to finish, Lien Wenhai couldn't hold it in any longer and spat out a mouthful of black blood. Heavily wounded, he kept restraining himself. The reason he did not continue to attack and left Lan clan in a hurry was because he could not endure it any longer. In the split second between their palms, a surge of power was like a mad dragon that rushed into his body. It was incessant and tyrannical in his body. The power of the Qilin blood vein had shriveled up, and his internal organs had shifted. Furthermore, Long Fei looked like nothing had happened to him. If he continued to stay here, he was afraid that he would die in Lan clan. And then, Lien Wenhai stared at Lan He with an extremely sinister gaze, and said with a heavy voice, "Watch that Long Fei youth for me." Lan He quickly replied, "Understood." When Lien Wenhai and the others left, Long Fei also spat out a mouthful of blood. He could not endure it either, and his body immediately collapsed. His vision turned dark, and he fainted. Fu Xishan immediately supported him, while Lan Mei also quickly rushed forward. "Long Fei! Long Fei!" Fu Xishan's gaze tensed up. The vice chairman of the Alchemy Union stepped forward and checked his pulse slightly. His expression tensed up as he shook his head at Fu Xishan. "All of my internal organs were shattered, and my veins were more or less severed as well. Just 2 palm strikes earlier, 1 palm was already his limit, and the second palm strike was even used with all his might to resist. His body simply could not withstand Lien Wenhai's Qilin power at all. Sai Tandapeo rushed forward and roared heavily. "What the F***K did you say? My boss won't die." Fu Xishan's tears could not be stopped, but she did not cry out, and immediately said, "Go, invite all the best doctors in the business alliance of Fu family over, and bring me that elixir as well. Miss, that elixir is our town in East Imperial City." Without waiting for the old man to finish speaking, Fu Xishan immediately shouted, "I will tell you to go." The old man quickly ran out. She had never seen Fu Xishan lose control like this before. F***CK. I'll fight it out with them. Tandapeo was about to rush out. Lan Mei shouted, "So what if we go? You can't even deal with a single disciple of the Lien family. So what can you do if you go?" Woo-woo. After Lan Mei finished speaking, he started crying, "It's all my fault. It's all my fault." Now that Long Fei had become like this, she was panicking. She didn't know what to do. Ding dong. The sound of water dripping was heard. "Where's this?" Chapter 28:15, Celestial Transformation. Chapter 28:15, Celestial Transformation, Ding dong. Another drop of water sounded. Long Fei stood in a void space and looked at the surrounding world of darkness. "Where's this place? Am I dead?" Buzz. A light sound rang out. A voice rang out. "Brat, can you cherish your life for a moment?" A black and white sound. Long Fei trembled and said, "What treasure is there for me to cherish? I'm about to die. You don't even know how to release some power. Can you not take my life seriously?" Black and White said angrily, "You're blaming me now? If not for my power just now, you would have been dead by now." The dragon-shaped mark on his right arm released a bit of its power, and it was really because of that power that Long Fei was able to be blown away. However, he himself was also hurt. Long Fei grinned and said, "If you had exploded your strength earlier, you would have done everything long ago." Monochrome let out a long breath. "Don't you understand?" Long Fei said. "Understand what?" He really didn't know what to understand. He was just unhappy, because the black and white power was not under his control. Otherwise, in his eyes, A person like Lien Wenchao would definitely not be able to live past this period. The Lien Wenhai, just now, had also instantly flipped over. Long Fei simply could not tolerate it. Black and White hesitated for a long time before slowly saying, "Didn't you realize that your survival rate is very low?" Universal Realm? Didn't you notice that Universal Realm is much more difficult to break through than any of the planes you've ever been in, whether it is in cultivation or in cultivation? Long Fei was startled. "What do you mean?" Black and White said, "That's because I helped you. In your previous world, your speed of breakthrough should have been very fast. But here?" Long Fei glanced at the experience slot. To advance to the third level of the general level, he needed 100 million experience points. According to the levels, he was only level 12. At this level, leveling up wouldn't give that much EXP. Hearing the black and white words, Long Fei started to understand a little. He asked, "Are you saying that the number of times you have attacked me will affect my future path?" "That's right. This is called destiny." Black and White said, "You have to walk your own path, step by step. I have made too many moves, which means that you're not walking. You are jumping, so your cultivation will not be able to deal with the rest of the matters. Yesterday, I sensed that a huge power within the ancient world had broken through its shackles and was about to enter the universal realm within the next few days. Although there doesn't seem to be any connection, it's all because of your exposure. Because last night, Long Fei had exposed the God's tribe's curse mark S in his chest. His luck can affect people who are related to him." Long Fei was shaken and said faintly, "Am I that fierce? Can even affect the people of ancient world?" Black and White said flatly, "It looks like you don't know yourself. You don't know your own identity, nor do you know your mission. I really don't know why it's you." It was somewhat painful. He was also somewhat disappointed. Long Fei could also stop it, but he did not know the answer. There were many things that he did not know, such as ancient world, ancient inheritance, or even God's tribe. What was his identity? I don't know. Who is he? I don't know. Why did he have a game system in his body? I don't know. He didn't want to know this either. He just wanted to do his best and live a good life. Long Fei said, "You know everything, so tell me everything you know. Didn't you say you failed before? What exactly is it?" Black and White said, "You will understand in the future. F*CK. I despise you." Long Fei was displeased. "You're telling this to me again. Is there a point in not telling me?" Black and White said, "You will know what you need to know in the future. I just want to let you know that the road ahead for you is very difficult, that right now, you don't have time to think about anything else. The only thing you need to do is to become stronger, stronger, and stronger. You can become stronger by yourself. The people around you must also make them stronger. You alone won't be able to deal with the God's tribe, nor will you be able to deal with the repression of boundary stones in the ancient world. All right, actually, I shouldn't be the one to tell you this. I just don't want to see you fail. You have to cherish your own life in the future. In the future, I will do my best to control my strength. In the future, you have to rely more on yourself. For your future safety, I will teach you a set of cultivation technique." Long Fei was startled. You should have said it earlier. It was completely outside of Long Fei's expectations. One must know that Black and White was nothing. He actually knew how to impart a cultivation technique to him. "Kid, remember this well." As soon as he finished, once a surge of power from the dragon-shaped mark surged, it fiercely surged into Long Fei's sea of consciousness. At the same time, the system beeped out a notification. "Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Divine Dragon Transformation. Do you wish to cultivate it?" "What?" Long Fei looked at the manual in the system and felt that it was very sharp just by looking at the name. The idea moved and said, "Cultivate." Ding! System notification. Cultivating success. Martial skills. Heaven Martial Dragon Divine Transformation. Not dying. Grade. Divine level proficiency. 0/100000 description. The Heavenly Dragon God has become a stage 10 martial artist. First form, immortal. Not die. Long Fei looked at the two words, his heart boiling with excitement, and then looked at his own health point. Blood. His health point had already been seen through. He was already in the 0 HP state. According to the game, he should be dead by now, but he was not. This was because Black and White had activated the Celestial Dragon's transformation on him just now. That is, Zero Blood won't die. Long Face said, Black and White, if the first form is already so strong, then what is the second form? The Black and White voice slowly faded away. You will know in the future. Kid, the road ahead will become more and more difficult. You must persevere. The sound disappeared. It was also at this time. The two balls of Qilin power smashed into Long Fei's body by Lien, one high, converged onto his mind. Buzz. His mind rumbled. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spring of Life. Drip. A drop of water fell down. Buzz. Life force was everywhere as his internal organs were rapidly restored. His broken tendons and veins were also rapidly repaired. His joints and pain were all healed in an instant. Long Fei was overjoyed. I have finally awakened again. Long Fei's health point had also instantly filled up. Ooh! Long Fei let out a heavy breath as he jumped up from the chair he was sitting on, his face full of excitement. Not only did he get the Universal Realm's Divine Level Cultivation Technique, he also got the Spring of Life to activate it. Awesome. It was also at this time he discovered that Fu Shishan and Lan Mei were lying on the side of the bed. His face was haggard. Long Fei looked at the two of them and thought about what had happened these past few days. His heart tightened. Black and White is right. I need to become stronger again. If this was a game, then Long Fei's current game difficulty level had already been adjusted to the highest. In another place, the 9 heavens and the clouds. The ancient world exited through the passage into the universal realm. A bald man was holding a golden axe in his hand. In front of him, standing 8,000 violet gold godguard. Li Yuanba gave a silly smile. You came really fast. Chapter 28:16, An Incident. Chapter 28:16, An Incident, what a miracle. That's impossible. His meridians are all broken, and his heartbeat is gone. How could he? That can only mean one thing. The young Master Long is talented. All the famous doctors from East Imperial City were here. Everyone was filled with doubts. They were completely helpless against Long Fei's sickness. Even if there was the Tian Luo elixir, it was still useless, and Long Fei had also consumed the business alliance of Fu family's treasure before, the God's Tribe's elixir. However, there was no reaction. Fu Shishan cried until her tears dried. For 3 days and 3 nights, Lan Mei did not close her eyes. Tan DePeo disappeared for 3 days. Everyone gave up, but the two of them did not give up and continued to guard Long Fei's bedside, especially Fu Shishan, who she firmly believed would live because he was Long Fei, because he was a dragon in God's martial continent. She already knew clearly that they were of the dragon race. Now that they were in Universal Realm, what kind of existence was the dragon race? Once the #1 clan in the ancient world, even if they were suppressed by the God's Tribe, they were still an exceptionally strong clan. With Long Fei's dragon body, he would definitely not die like this. She didn't believe it. If Long Fei died this easily, then he wouldn't be the Long Fei that Fu Shishan wanted to wait for. Now, the injuries on Long Fei's body were completely healed. He was standing right in front of her, full of vigor and vitality. Fu Shishan immediately threw herself into Long Fei's embrace at that moment. She had missed the opportunity in God's martial continent and regretted it until now. He would not do anything that he regretted. The moment she laid on Long Fei's shoulder, she said to herself, "It's you. No matter what happens, I won't be like last time." Lan Mei faintly smiled when she saw Fu Shishan throw himself into Long Fei's embrace. A sincere smile. She was happy for Long Fei, happy for him and Fu Shishan. Long Fei lightly patted Fu Shishan's back and said, "Pavilion Master Fu, enough. Many people are watching." Fu Shishan hugged even more tightly and muttered, "Don't call me Pavilion Master Fu. Call me Inshan, and I don't care if I like to hug. Then who can control it? Love can easily make a person's head burn." In the eyes of the people of Business Alliance of Fu family, Fu Shishan was that capable, calm, and collected person. He would absolutely not do anything that would harm the business alliance of Fu family. However, everything she had done in the past few days had been in a complete mess. She was panicking as if she had lost all rationality. God Tribe Elixir. He spent a huge sum of money to get the East Imperial City's doctor. Furthermore, she did not hesitate to announce to the outside world that if anything happened to Long Fei, she would start a war with the Lin family. Anything was something she would never have done before. That what? Let go of me first. Long Fei uttered slightly. He engraved everything that Fu Shishan had paid for this in his heart and was extremely grateful. Fu Shishan let go of Long Fei like a little woman and turned to look at the elders and doctors of the merchant union who were sneakily laughing and immediately said, "What are you laughing for? You guys don't have anything else to do here. Hurry up and leave." The doctors quickly retreated from the room. The few elders left as well. One of the elders walked up to her and said, "Miss, I have something to report." Fu Shishan said, "Speak." The clan elder looked at Long Fei with hesitation. Fu Shishan said, "There are no outsiders here. Speak." The clan elder said, "With your absence for the past few days, the entire business alliance of Fu family is in a mess, especially the Zhongling Pills S. They have a huge influence there. Almost all of the clans have come to talk about the Zhongling Pills S. And now a single Zhongling Pills has already sold for 50 million Grand Miss crystals on the black market. Alchemy Union's vice president comes every day, but he's already annoyed to the point that he has no other choice. Business alliance of Fu family's Spirit Pill Pavilion is surrounded by those low-level warriors every day. Just for the sake of the Zhongling Pills, it's almost impossible to do business. When can we start selling the Zhongling Pills? And how many? The matter regarding the Zhongling Pills' auction was progressing at an abnormally rapid pace, causing the entire East Imperial City to go crazy for it. More than 10 Warrior Realm warriors had broken through on the spot. This pill was too powerful. Not only that, those who had consumed Zhongling Pills before had their cultivation speed increase exponentially, causing them to become even more frenzied. Fu Shishan's brows tightened and said, "Currently, I still have 20 of them in stock. Take out 10 of them first. Don't forget to not sell them at too high a price. And it's only for the warriors of the Warrior Realm. You're not allowed to make a move on the family. Only one at a time." The elder nodded. "All right, I will remember. In addition, there are also some things that I have rejected due to you not being here, including the matter of Dongwon College's great instructor Song Tianqing sending someone over to help with the Zhongling Pills. They probably want to study the Zhongling Pills being obstructed. Lin family didn't do anything special in the recent few days and didn't respond to your words either. I heard that they have also joined the development of Zhongling Pills. There's more. Currently, we have received the invitations from 32 families. They are willing to invest their capital into the Zhongling Pills. Almost everything revolved around the Zhongling Pills. Just a small pill caused the East Imperial City to go crazy. It was a pill that could change fate. The clan elder looked at Long Fei and then looked at Fu Shishan. "Miss, I think we should work really hard to create Zhongling Pills. Don't we have a right to buy it? We should gather the pill refiners of our business alliance of Fu family to refine them together. This year alone, the sales of Zhongling Pills S can complete the mission ahead of time." Without waiting for the elder to finish, Fu Shishan immediately said, "No." The elder was stunned. Fu Shishan said, "Rare things are precious. If we can produce Zhongling Pills on a large scale, then the impact of us Zhongling Pills will drop. Other than that, not just anyone can refine Zhongling Pills." Actually, Fu Shishan just did not want to make Long Fei, who had just recovered from a serious illness, too tired. The elder nodded, but 10 pills a day is not enough to satisfy the market. Maybe it will cause chaos. "I'm worried," Long Fei said. "I'll talk to the senior about it. Let him try his best to provide 100 crystals per day. As to how you want to sell it, all of you can decide for yourself." Fu Shishan looked at Long Fei, and his heart was moved. The elder immediately replied, "Then I'll have to trouble Mr. Long. If we can get 100 a day, then it can't be any better." "All right, Miss, I'll be going now. As for the Dongwang College, Fu Shishan slightly said, Lien family has already joined the research and development team. How could I tell him the secret recipe? I have yet to settle the score with them regarding Long Fei's injury. The elder said, I understand. Then, I will take my leave first. The elder left. Only Lan Mei, Fu Shishan, and Long Fei were left in the house. Fu Shishan said with a bit of heartache, Your illness has just started to heal. I don't want you to be so tired. Lan Mei looked at Long Fei doubtfully and said, Did you really refine the Zhongling pills? At this time, Long Fei did not try to hide anything. He nodded his head, and it is just a rank 1 pill. Lan Mei's eyes were moist, his fists secretly clenching, and he thought to himself, Why are you so good to me? I don't deserve it at all. At this moment, north of the city, rumble, a loud explosion resounded in the sky. Chapter 2817, Crazy Cannons. Chapter 2817, Crazy Cannons, Rumble. A loud sound shook half the city. Long Fei walked out of the house. Where? Fu Shishan looked into the distance and said, It should be near the north side of the city. North of the city? Long Fei was startled. Then his gaze darkened and immediately asked, Where's the cannon? At this moment, ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for killing Lien Wenhai, for obtaining 500,000 experience, 18,000 true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 1,000 Hands Buddhist seal. Do you wish to learn it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Grand Mist Crystal, 100,000. The system suddenly sounded out. It was very sudden, and it was to kill Lien Wenhai's notification sound. At this moment, Long Fei did not have a single trace of happiness on his face, as he thought to himself in his heart, Crap! Instantly, Long Fei quickly rushed out. He was sure that it was Tan DePeo. When he found out that Long Fei might not live much longer, he swore to himself that he would not be a human if he did not seek revenge. Her life was saved by Long Fei. It was all because of Long Fei that he was able to enter a universal realm. Since something had happened to Long Fei, he couldn't just sit there and do nothing. Even at the cost of his life, he had to do something. Because Long Fei was his boss. Because Long Fei treated him as a brother. For 3 days and 3 nights, Tan DePeo did not sleep at all. He transformed into a beggar and stayed near the Lien family, waiting for an opportunity. Just recently, when Lien Wenhai went out of the door, he found an opportunity and used all the power in his body to inject it into the cracked soul curse. The moment the cannon shot out, Lien Wenhai's head, which was completely defenseless, exploded. Of course, this was also the reason why Lien Wenhai was heavily injured. Otherwise, Tan DePeo's strength would not have killed him. It was also because the injuries on Lien Wenhai's body were caused by Long Fei that he could gain experience after a few days. Ha! Brother Fei, I've avenged you. Ha! Tan DePeo was wild with excitement. He looked at Lien Wenhai's body after his head exploded and fiercely shouted, You touched my boss. I cannot kill you. You shall accompany my boss in death. Picking up half of Lien Wenhai's head, Tan DePeo quickly dashed into the crowd. It was also at this time. Chase after him. The Lien family disciples quickly gave chase. Tan DePeo grinned. Come on, chase this daddy. Ha! Do you see that? This is the head of your elders. Ha! Tan DePeo went crazy. He had never thought of leaving this place alive to assassinate someone. Suddenly, rumble. Another loud sound rang out. The ground exploded and the powerful energy knocked the 2 Lien family disciples flying. They landed on the ground heavily and coughed out a large mouthful of blood. Come on, chase me again. Ha! You bunch of dogs, I'll play you to your death today. Rumble. Not long after, there was another loud sound. A few more Lien family disciples fell. Tan DePeo thought, Brother Fei, these are all to accompany you in death. Ha! Wait for me. In the past, I didn't have any friends, nor did I have any brothers. I spent my entire life cultivating and came to the universal realm just for the sake of getting a woman from the universal realm. I never thought that if I met you, my life would be given by you. But now that something has happened to you, I don't need to live anymore. Tandapeo seemed to have gone crazy. Crazy gorilla hit, crazy explosion. The elite disciples of the Lien family were in a sorry state because of him. However, Tandapeo was only a warrior realm cultivator. His breath of true spirit could not hold on for long. Furthermore, due to his low level and the fact that the cultivation of the Lien family's disciples were all at general level, they would catch up to him very quickly. Ha ha ha! Seeing that they were just about to catch up, Tandapeo tore his clothes and shouted excitedly, "Come on, all of you, come on!" His body was covered in energy sections, similar to explosive packages. Moreover, the energy was extremely pure, and the explosive force was extremely strong. F***, he wants to die. This person must be crazy. Everyone, be careful. The higher-ups have said that they want to capture him alive. The Lien family disciple quickly said. Tandapeo had an unbridled expression as he said, "Little bitch, come on. Isn't your Lien family vicious and merciless? Aren't you Lien family people arrogant? Come on, come up and fuck me if you dare." He was giving his all now. More and more Lien family disciples were chasing after them. Right now, it was almost impossible for Tandapeo to escape. In this sort of situation, he had never thought of fleeing. With one foot, he stepped on half of Lien Wenhai's skull beneath his feet. The corner of his mouth lifted, and he said, "This is Lien Wenhai's head, and I'm stepping on it." Ha ha ha! The expressions of many disciples from Lien family were abnormally ugly. It was also at this time. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded out, "A bunch of useless trash. Lien family's face has been completely thrown away by you. What's the use of raising you?" As soon as he finished, whoosh, a shadow moved. Roar, a Chelan roared. And right before this spark of light, a young man in his early 20s appeared out of thin air. It landed in front of Tandapeo. "Be young master. Eldest young master is here. Eldest young master, Lien Wenchao's brother, Lien Wuchao." The super genius ranked in the top 5 of the advanced Dongwon colleges. Similarly, he was also the owner of the magical Kylan blood. It was the same for the star-level students of the Dongwon College. It was because of his influence that the Lien family was able to steadily increase and become an aristocrat. Lien Wuchao's sudden appearance caused the Lien family disciples to be slightly startled. Lien Wenchao's death made him exceptionally unhappy, and he was extremely dissatisfied with his clan's so-called strength. A mere Lan clan couldn't even take down a single one of them. What's the use of it? And now, he had been assassinated by a muggle from the warrior realm, Lien family elder. Tandapeo looked at Lien Wuchao, and his heart instantly went cold. A Chelan appeared in his eyes. The Chelan was about to pounce on him and swallow him whole. Lien Wuchao stared at Tandapeo with scorn and said gloomily, "Even a trash like you dares to fight against Lien family? You're courting death." As soon as the word dead fell, Lien Wuchao's figure suddenly moved. Tandapeo's eyes became tight. He knew that if he could not block Lien Wuchao, he would not be able to do anything. However, if he could pull him in again, then his life would be worth it. Thus, the moment Lien Wuchao's body moved, his fingers also fiercely moved, as his gaze became sinister. "Let's die together." But, not waiting for him to finish, Lien Wuchao chopped down with his palm. Bam! Crack! Tandapeo's left arm was broken and did not detonate. His entire body was also instantly blown away. "Ah!" Tandapeo screamed. The crowd opened up a path, but his body was still explosively shooting out. In the distance, Long Fei took a step, his hands moved, and suddenly pressed against Tandapeo's back, his body sinking down. Boom! Chapter 28:18 Violet Gold Godguard Blood River. Chapter 28:18 Violet Gold Godguard Blood River. Tandapeo had already explosively shot out 100 meters, but he could not do it. At such a long distance, Long Fei used both his hands to push against it, but his body actually found it hard to endure. His arms were numb. He could barely hold on. Moreover, Long Fei followed Tandapeo and exploded outwards. This power, too fierce. His cultivation was at least in the god's elephant state, and he possessed the strength of a celestial phenomenon ascendant. Bam! Long Fei crashed into a wall, barely managing to stabilize his body. Tandapeo's left arm had already been cut off, so he could not help but droop down, and his face was extremely pale. Looking at the person behind him, his entire body trembled. "Brother Fei, you're not dead?" Long Fei supported him and asked, "Who called you here?" Tendapeo's entire body was in great pain, but he seemed to be unable to feel it. He laughed merrily and said, "I knew it. How can my big brother Tandapeo die so easily?" At this moment, Fu Shishan and Lan Mei also quickly rushed over. Seeing a large group of Lin family disciples walking over, what made her even more shocked was not the Lin family disciples, but rather the young man who was slowly walking over. Fu Shishan's eyes darkened. Lin Wuchao, the #1 genius of Lin family, one of the 10 great geniuses of East Imperial City, a monster ranked in the top 5 of the Advanced Academy of Dongwon College. 22 years old, God's elephant state. Why did he come back from the Dongwon College? Lan Mei's face also changed greatly. This was the North City district. It could be said that this was the Lin family's territory. Long Fei asked in a low voice, "Is that person called Lin Wuchao very strong?" Fu Shishan said slightly, "Not only is he strong, he is simply a demon. His style of conduct and skills are completely different from Lin Wenchao's. If you were to say that Lin Wenchao is a silk pants, then he is evil and merciless, and he is not a scoundrel or a silk pants. But his ruthlessness is 10 times stronger than Lin Wenchao's, and none of the people who offend him can live in this world. The rapid rise of the Lin family in these years is directly related to him. He is someone that the great instructors of Dongwon College have set their eyes on." Long Fei had felt the power of the attack just now. It was really strong. Lan Mei faintly said, "His gifted vein is even stronger than Lin Wenchao." Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and he muttered to himself, "Is the blood vein stronger than Lin Wenchao? Then, killed him." Lin Wuchao walked forward, looked at Long Fei and the other 3, and coldly said, "Coincidentally, all of you are here. Save me the trouble of searching one by one. Then go to hell." As soon as he finished, the aura on Lin Wuchao's body suddenly changed. His skin was covered with many green scales, Qilin scales. Long Fei tensed up, and the idea moved. He held on to H tightly, and the heavens in steel that hid the Pikachu. Fu Shishan took a step forward and said, "Lin Wuchao, you must think about the consequences. If any of us die, your Lin family's days will not be easy." The influence of the business alliance of Fu Family S in the East Imperial City was still quite great. Moreover, business alliance of Fu Family didn't only have a branch in the East Imperial City, they also had a branch in the entire Universal Realm. Compared to the power of the entire business alliance of Fu Family, the Lin family was like a little kid. It was just that Lin Wuchao was not afraid as he laughed coldly. "Threatening me. Do you know what I, Lin Wuchao, am least afraid of? A threat. Whoever dares to threaten me has not yet been able to live a peaceful life in this world. So what if it's the business alliance of Fu Family? I have never looked at it." Lin Wuchao said in disdain. Fu Shishan said, "I am not threatening you. I am only speaking the truth. If you do not believe me, just give it a try. My business alliance of Fu Family will follow you to the end." "All right, then I will follow you to the end." Lin Wuchao's eyes tensed up, his eyes filled with killing intent. The Qilin roared and attacked. Fu Shishan's heart sank. He never thought that Lin Wuchao would actually dare to make a move. Long Fei took a step forward and fiercely landed in front of Fu Shishan. Fu Shishan immediately pulled Long Fei back and said, "I don't need you to do anything." Lin Wuchao was too strong, and Long Fei was not his match. Moreover, she is the young miss of business alliance of Fu family. The moment Lien Wuchao's move landed, the air moved and an old man walked out of thin air. Buzz! It directly blew Lien Wuchao away. Lien Wuchao took 3 steps back, his eyes turning cold. Power of the saint. Long Fei was also secretly shocked in that instant. That kind of power was really too strong. Fu Shishan slightly said, "That's right, the power of a saint. Do you still want to fight?" He was very calm and collected. She was Miss Fu. How could she not have a bodyguard? Lien Wuchao's lips curved up. Saint Realm, we'll have to see how many people you can protect. We can protect you, but can we protect the 3 of them? While they were talking, the killing intent in Lien Wuchao's eyes did not decrease at all. It was not easy for a sage expert to protect the 4 of them. Moreover, Fu Shishan's bodyguards would only protect her, not Long Fei and the others. Fu Shishan's eyes tightened and said indifferently, "You can try. I'm not afraid of you." Suddenly, Lien Wuchao moved again. Fu Shishan frowned. "Stop him." The old man did not move. He stood beside Fu Shishan and said lightly, "Miss, I will only protect you." Fu Shishan was incomparably anxious. There wasn't much of a reaction at this point. Lien Wuchao struck out with his palm towards Lan Mei and said, "Die." Buzz! A sword chime was especially ear-piercing. Suddenly, a sound was heard. Lien Wuchao was pushed away once again. His arms felt numb and his eardrums hurt. Lan Mei cried out in alarm, "Elder swordsman!" The elder swordsman stood quietly at the side, his eyes locking onto Lien Wuchao and smoking. Lien Wuchao's face did not look good, but he was feeling very bad. Another bodyguard, right? What about them? Before he finished his sentence, Lien Wuchao's figure disappeared. An enormous Qilin's pressure directly crushed towards Long Fei. In that instant, Long Fei's mind was immediately crushed, and his consciousness could barely circulate. It was very uncomfortable. F***CK. Long Fei shouted, "Am I a soft persimmon?" Sitting and waiting for Long Fei to die. He definitely wouldn't. Seeing that the great Lien Wuchao had attacked, Long Fei moved his idea and was about to summon H. However, at this moment, buzz! A ball of black flame suddenly exploded, and before Lien Wuchao could even get close, it directly knocked him flying. An old man slightly bowed and said indifferently, "Young master, I'm late for redemption." A black robe appeared. They looked down on people's looks, and their voices were somewhat gloomy. Walala, Wolf. A powerful aura emanated from his body. Others might not know about it, but Long Fei was very clear. Hui Daozi. Long Fei was secretly shocked. It should be arranged by the Queen of Blood Moon. So many women are good to me. Damn, could it be that I am born with Xiao Bai's face and specialize in eating soft food? He attacked 3 times in a row, and 3 times he was blocked. Moreover, each and every one of their cultivation bases were above his. Lien Wuchao was very unhappy. The anger in his heart was raging. But right at this moment, there was a sudden explosion from above the 9 heavens as purplish golden rays of light sprinkled out, like purple fireworks exploding in the air. However, this purple light contained an extremely powerful force, because this purple light was nothing else but the corpses of the violet gold god guard, the shattered pieces of the armor, and their fresh blood. The entire universal realm began to shake. Chapter 2819, One Contest of Dishes. Chapter 2819, One Contest of Dishes. The scorching sun hung high in the sky as a purple light filled the sky. One after another, the clouds in the 9 heavens exploded as grand mist fell from the sky. It looked exceptionally resplendent. Universal Realm was shocked. East Imperial City was the same. Even the furious Lien Wuchao was stunned. He looked at the sky and muttered, "What is that?" Quickly, look at the purple light in the sky. What's that? It's too beautiful. It seems to have fallen from the 9th heaven. How strange. How could something like this fall down? Because it was too high up, it was impossible to see what was in the sky. Everyone was discussing. Long Fei also looked at the sky and muttered, "What the hell?" Fu Shishan's bodyguards and the Gui Daozi beside Long Fei were all tongue-tied and staring at the sky. They, too, did not know what the purple light in the sky was. Only the elder swordsman. His gaze turned slightly sinister, and in that instant his pupils changed. His pupils constricted, and his body couldn't help but tremble in excitement. His eyes became exceptionally excited. It was also at this time that he looked towards Long Fei. Long Fei looked up into the sky, his eyes filled with astonishment. He did not know what that purple light was. However, Elder Swordsman looked at him, but Long Fei felt it. It was as if Long Fei didn't know, except Long Fei didn't notice the change in Elder Swordsman's expression, but Tandapeo did. Elder Swordsman's aura was always hostile towards Long Fei, but why? It was also at this time. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. East Imperial City suddenly had a few figures appear from the ground and flew into the sky. Very few people in the entire East Imperial City knew that the sky was purple, so even if they knew, they would have to personally confirm it for themselves. Boom! Not far away, in the courtyard of the Lien family, a figure charged into the sky. Half a minute later, boom! He landed heavily on the ground. A few minutes later, an old man rushed out. "Eldest young master, Grand Elder wants you to go back immediately." Lien Wuchao regained his composure and said, "Did the Grand Preceptor discover something?" The old man said, "This is not a good place to talk. You will know when you get back." All right, the martial arts practitioner didn't dare disobey his grandfather's order. Moreover, he was sure that his grandfather had discovered something. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hastily called him back. Then, Lien Wuchao looked at Long Fei and the others coldly and said, "Kid, I'll remember you. In addition, Lan Mei, if I remember correctly, you promised to marry my brother, right?" The corners of Lien Wuchao's mouth curled up coldly. Lan Mei's gaze tensed up. Tandapeo shouted, "Lien Wuchao is already dead. What do you want? Do you want her to marry a dead man?" Lien Wuchao sneered. "You are right. The woman my brother wants, even if he dies now, I will help him get it. Even if I have to die, I will marry him." "Ha ha, finished," Lien Wuchao said as he coldly stared at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes. "Let's go." The Lien family disciples quickly retreated. Gui Daozi said softly, "I can't stay for long." He was someone from the ghost cave. To be exact, he was not a human. He was merely a monster, a cultivation adult. Once he was discovered in the human world, not only would he be in danger, Long Fei would also be implicated. Long Fei slightly nodded. "Thank you." Gui Daozi smiled faintly and said, "Young master is too courteous." With that, his figure disappeared. The exploding look around Fu Shishan also disappeared. It was now the elder swordsman. Long Fei stepped forward and asked, "Do you know what that is?" Fu Shishan and Lan Mei both shook their heads. At this moment, Tandapeo walked over and said, "Elder Swordsman probably knows that when he saw the purple-colored flowing light, his expression had changed. Furthermore, he had been staring at Brother Fei this entire time." Long Fei trembled slightly. "Elder Swordsman knows?" Lan Mei said, "How did he know all this?" "Whatever it is, I'll go and ask." Fu Shishan said, "I will also go back to the Merchant Union and ask." Just now, the figures of the East Imperial City that rose up from the ground were all powerhouses peak. The things that could make them appear were definitely not ordinary things. To be able to make the angry Lien Wuchao give up, it was enough to prove the importance of this. And the violet light in the sky continued. It continued to pour down. Would it land near the East Imperial City? Hard to say. However, it seemed like many forces were preparing. Long Fei helped Tandapeo up, but did not think too much into it. Tandapeo was heavily injured, and he killed Lien Wenhai in front of so many people. With a Lien Wenchao dead, and a stronger Lien Wuchao here, it looks like we still have a chance. Long Fei was secretly pleased as well. The clogging of muscles and veins on Lan Mei's body required holy vein S to break through. Killing Lien Wenchao did not result in the death of the Holy Vein, but what about killing Lien Wuchao? However, Lien Wuchao's cultivation was God's elephant state. It was not an ordinary type of power. H's big move, without even awakening the Pikachu's lightning, coupled with the underworld fire's injuries, it might not be enough to kill Lien Wuchao. He had to become stronger. Outside the clouds of the ninth heaven, Li Yuanba's entire body was covered in purple blood, and his golden Greytax seemed to have been dyed purple. Not a single one of the 8,000 Violet Gold God Guard were left alive after he killed them all. Only Tianwu and Tianwei remained. Hoo. You actually dare to oppose the God's tribe. Even if you can survive today, you will definitely not live past tomorrow. Not waiting for him to finish. Li Yuanba moved, his eyes glaring like a golden Buddha. Damn it, whenever I say God's tribe, I will get angry. So what if you're a God's tribe? If I don't kill your God's tribe this time, I will not be Li Yuanba. Boom! He took a step forward. A golden fog rose from beneath his feet. The golden fog formed a lotus and quickly rippled apart like ripples. And at this moment, the muscles on Li Yuanba's arm suddenly expanded, and in an instant swept out. Boom! The golden light shone for 90,000 kilometers. The giant axe swept out and smashed into Tianwu's chest. The purple divine armor instantly ruptured and turned into countless purplish golden lights as it shot out. At the same time, his body sank down abruptly. A painful scream. His chest was cracked open as his body shot out from the space between the clouds. Tianwu, one of the commander of Violet Gold God Guard, powerhouse of God's tribe. The axe was sent flying trillions of km, immediately becoming a black dot and disappearing. Li Yuanba's aura was extremely fierce. Staring at the other person, he said coldly, "So what if you're God's tribe? This time, I came here to stomp over God's tribe." Boom! Yet another axe blow descended. The sky guards were also helpless. They were directly flung hundreds of millions of kilometers away by Li Yuanba's axe. The strongest Violet Gold God Guard in the God tribe was like a chicken or dog in front of Li Yuanba. A contest of dishes. East Imperial City. It's coming. Something's coming down. Chapter 2820, East Imperial City at the Peak. Chapter 2820, East Imperial City at the Peak, rumble. A loud sound came from the East Imperial City. Dozens of buildings were destroyed. However, in that instant, a few figures descended from the sky above the East Imperial City. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. In the East Imperial City's main house, a few thousand elite warriors quickly moved out. Before even an hour had passed, they had already surrounded the ruins, preventing any kind of family power from approaching. Deep within the ruins, a layer of purple metal shimmered. Rays of light shot out, containing an incomparable amount of power. The few elders stood in the air, looking at the light from the ruins. None of them dared to go up. Amethyst light. The power of the God's tribe. In addition, it seems to be the aura of the ancient inheritance's power from the legends. A white-haired old man slowly said. His eyes stared at the purple metal, and his eyes emitted a strange light. A middle-aged man asked, "Ancient, then is it an item from the God's tribe?" Everyone looked at the white-haired old man. The white-haired old man paused for a few seconds before nodding slightly. It should be something from the God's tribe. In that instant, those powerhouse-s suddenly trembled. The well-dressed man took a step forward and immediately landed beside the piece of purple metal. The others didn't move either, only watching him. The well-dressed man let out a long breath. He looked at the piece of purple metal next to him as if he was facing a great enemy. He was extremely careful, and the aura on his body slightly fluctuated. Buzz! 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 He unleashed his imperial chi continuously, forming rings after rings that protected his entire body like a shield. Emperor's Chi. The royal realm was also the peak powerhouse of the East Imperial City. Huff! He took another deep breath and glanced at the crowd. Then he bent down and slowly picked up the purple metal that was the size of a fist. The moment he touched the purple metal, The well-dressed man's body suddenly sank. Bang, bang, bang. The Emperor's chi barrier that had been released from his body instantly cracked and shattered. The well-dressed man's forehead suddenly tightened. He let out a blood-curdling screech. That small piece of purple metal suddenly turned into a liquid and wrapped itself around the well-dressed man's arm, madly swimming about just like a snake. Finally, they swam to the top of his head. The well-dressed man slightly lifted his eyes to look at the violet spirit serpent that he'd obtained, and his body lightly trembled. He didn't dare to move recklessly. Even though he was a royal realm cultivator, he did not dare to move recklessly, because, at this moment, he felt that if he moved even a little bit, the purple liquid would swallow him whole, completely suppressing him. Be careful. Don't move. This purple metal has spiritual awareness. He can sense every single move of yours. Please don't move. The white-haired old man quickly reminded. The well-dressed man remained motionless. He could already feel the power of the purple metal. If it was like what the white-haired old man said, then he really might be killed by a small piece of metal. That purple snake seemed to be observing. The well-dressed man did not move, and it did not move either. The white-haired old man lowered his voice and said, "It contains the power of the God's tribe. If we can capture it, then we—" Not waiting for him to finish, the purple spirit snake suddenly disappeared. Everyone was taken aback. Before anyone could react, the purple liquid directly rushed in front of the white-haired old man. The old man was instantly pressed down on the ground with a sinister look on his face. The old man widened his eyes and didn't dare to move. However, this time, the purple spirit snake didn't hesitate and directly pierced through the white-haired old man's forehead. The space between his eyebrows was torn apart. The white-haired old man's eyeballs were about to pop out of their sockets. His entire body was twitching, and he was in unbearable pain. The purple liquid completely poured into the center of the elder's forehead. The space between his eyebrows split open, but the elder didn't die. Instead, a diamond-shaped purple gem embedded itself into the center of the elder's forehead. Buzz! A loud explosion resounded. The white-haired old man's pained expression from before changed to one of extreme excitement. I broke through. I broke through. I stepped into the royal realm. The white-haired old man was extremely excited, and his expression was one of disbelief. Just now, the sound of a power explosion was the sound of a breakthrough. This was something that no one had expected. Everyone was slightly shocked. From the supreme realm to the emperor, there was a huge gap. Breaking through the royal realm did not just depend on time and accumulation. Not everyone could break through. The white-haired old man had not been able to touch the threshold of the royal realm for over 300 years, but this time, he instantly comprehended it. He wasn't relying on luck. What he relied on was the energy inside the purple metal. Moreover, ever since he broke through, the aura he gave off was especially dense, so much so that even the aura of the middle-aged man couldn't resist it. In other words, after breaking through, he was even stronger than the well-dressed man. This was a difference in strength, and it was also a suppression of strength. The well-dressed man's heart sank. He had originally wanted to go further, but now, although it was a pity, however, he still smiled and said generously, "Congratulations, you've finally broken through." The white-haired elder had a proud smile on his face. Looking at the well-dressed man, he smiled and said, "I've finally broken through. Now I'm also a royal realm. Ha ha, ha ha." As he spoke, he started to laugh maniacally. His pride was palpable. The surrounding people also began to congratulate him. The Emperor realm, the East Imperial City's overlord level. There were many powerhouses in the East Imperial City, but only 3 emperors possessed cultivations. The City Lord of the East Imperial City, Su Wantu, the principal of the Dongwon College, Jin Xianlong, and the first-rate aristocrat Yang Taizu. Now, there was one more. The white-haired old man was also the vice principal of the Dongwon College, Han Wuya. The East Imperial City was the overlord. The emperor meant the peak of the East Imperial City. If the three of them became four, many things would change. At this moment, whoosh, 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 rumble. In the sky, purple flame after purple flame fell towards the vicinity of East Imperial City, one of the huge fireballs. It was incomparably huge. The old man raised his eyes as they shined with a bright light. He said, "Everyone, I won't be accompanying you." Shwa! It vanished in an instant. The others followed suit. City Lord, we're leaving too. To be able to make Han Wuya, who had been unable to break through for 300 years, break through the royal realm in an instant. One could imagine how powerful the strength contained within the purple metal was. This was a precious treasure. Nobody wanted to miss it, especially those powerhouse of the senior realm. Su Wanda frowned, seeing the purple lights descending from the sky. The entire East Imperial City area within 1,000,000 km radius began to shake violently. He murmured, "Why do I have an ominous feeling?" Suddenly, his gaze grew tense. Winter is approaching. If these powerful forces are being controlled by the Ghost Hole, Ice Plains, Night Valley, and Wormhole. And then, Su Wanda shouted, "Go look for him immediately." Amongst the crowd, Su was disguised as she watched everything that happened, and she became excited. Chapter 28-21, Iron Death Squad. Chapter 28-21, Iron Death Squad, Rumble. Rumble, rumble. The waves of shock were higher than the waves of shock, and even the true Dongwang mountain range was in a state of shock. It was like a cannonball. It stopped only in the evening. Fu Xishan rushed over anxiously. Got it, got it. Long Fei immediately went up to welcome him and asked, "What is it?" Fu Xishan said, "It belongs to the God's tribe." God tribe. Long Fei's mind trembled, but when he heard the two words God's tribe, some anger started burning in his heart, and he said, "Isn't God's tribe the strongest? How could this be?" Fu Xishan shook his head. "I haven't found anything. There must be a powerhouse fighting against the God's tribe. Although the God's tribe is strong, but it doesn't mean that everyone in the God's tribe is invincible." "What is that purple light from the God's tribe?" Long Fei asked again. Fu Xishan said, "According to my conjecture, it might be the God's tribe's purple gold divine armor, but I cannot guarantee it. The violet gold God Guard S are the most elite warrior S, and every single one of them are direct disciples of the Emperor Xian. Their commander also possesses the power of the ancient inheritance, and they have followed the Emperor Xian since the inception of the sect, so it can be said that they have never lost. The Violet Gold God Guard was a legendary existence. He had never lost. Every time the Violet Gold God Guard went out to war, not a single blade of grass grew. It would be good to deal with the Ming clan. No matter if it was against the powerful clans of the ancient world, they had never lost, much less lost so many people. Not to mention, they, the 8,000 Violet Gold God Guard, had lost like dogs to one man. None of them were alive. Long Fame muttered, "What's the use of Violet Gold God Guard's armor fragments?" At this time, Tan DePeo ran in anxiously and said, "It's really useful, especially big. It's simply like a divine pill." Hoo. Tan DePeo gasped for breath. His face flushed red and said, "Brother Fei, that purple armor is a precious treasure. Dongwang College's vice principal Han Wuya has been unable to break through the royal realm for 300 years, but just when he absorbed the power inside the purple armor and instantly broke through and became a royal realm, it's too terrifying." Fu Xishan was slightly taken aback. He stared at Tan DePeo and said, "How did you know? I don't even know anything about this." Long Fei also asked, "Yes, how did you know? You killed Lien Wenhai, so the people of Lien family must be looking for you everywhere." Without waiting for Tan DePeo's reply, a few people walked in from the door. Su said with a face full of pride, "I told him, he. Su Zhu Tian, Nailin Yu, Nailin Xia." A Lung Feng who hadn't appeared in a long time also came. The Iron Head battle team. Long Fei was slightly taken aback as he looked at them and asked, "Why are you guys here?" Fu Xishan saw the change in their expressions as well. Long Fei didn't know who they were, but he did know that all 5 of them were extraordinary people. Su Su chuckled. Big brother Long Fei, we're here to visit you. I was locked in my house by my father for the past few days, and he finally escaped today. Hee, look at me. Huh? Long Fei said, Okay. Su Su was indeed very good to him. Even the bracelet his mother left him dared to pawn and buy things for Long Fei. He didn't know if he was stupid. However, Long Fei remembered this kindness. Su Su laughed sinisterly. Since I'm so good to you, then shouldn't you show some mercy? Long Fei asked. What do you mean? Su Su said. Come with us again to take another risk? This time, we will not capture strange ghostess. This time, when we go out to find violet gold armor fragments, as long as we have these fragments, we will be able to achieve a breakthrough in our cultivation as if we were flying. Long Fei was slightly startled, then looking at the 5 of them, they were all dressed in tight clothes. At this moment, Lan Mei also hurriedly walked in and said, You definitely can't go. Lan Mei walked over to Long Fei's side and said in a low voice, Elder Swordsman said that the armor fragments contained an abnormal amount of energy. And right now, all of the families in the entire East Imperial City are leaving the city to search for the violet gold armor's fragment. Other than the humans of our East Imperial City, the other major powers of the Ghost Hole, Night Valley, Wormhole, and Ice Plains are also searching for it. Elder Swordsman said very little. However, there was one particular reminder for Lan Mei. You cannot find violet gold armor fragments. The power of the God's tribe contained within was not something an ordinary person could control. A little carelessness would lead to eternal damnation. However, Su Su had an indifferent face as he grabbed Lan Mei's arm and said, Are you big sister Lan Mei? You probably didn't see it, but I saw it for myself. Han Weao broke through the royal realm after fusing with that purple metal, and I heard from my father that this energy is even stronger than Holy Vein S. Right now, all the large and small families in East Imperial City are going out of the city to search for it. If your archenemy Yans gets a piece of the fragment, will he still have a place to stand? The entire Lien family is also out. This is our East Imperial City's chance to reshuffle. If you want our Lan clan to grow stronger, you must seize this opportunity. I heard that your meridians are blocked and you can't cultivate. Maybe the energy inside the violet gold armor fragment can help you break through. Su Su's small mouth continuously chattered without stopping, and said excitedly, Big brother Long Fei said before, if you don't accept it, go ahead and take it, was completely stunned by what he had said. Shout Budian rolled his eyes and said in a low voice, Don't worry, I won't fight with you for big brother Long Fei. You grow big, I'll grow small, no problem. The voice was a little quiet. However, everyone heard it. Lan Mei's face flushed. Su Su laughed heartily and said, I'm blushing, then I'll take it that you've agreed. And then, he walked to Long Fei's side and said with an evil smile, Big brother Long Fei, I've helped you settle one. Should I help you settle that big sister? Long Fei rolled his eyes at her, speechless. However, his heart trembled slightly. The information in Su Su's words was extremely huge. The power of the God's tribe was much stronger than that of the Holy Vein. So would it really be able to break through the blockages in Lan Mei's veins? The entire Lien family was out. Then did Lien Wuchao also go? Was this a chance? Fighting in the open was impossible. Only assassination. Lan Mei herself did not know, but Long Fei was very clear that she did not have much time left. She had to break her meridians within half a year, or else she would die. Tandapeo was also excited. Brother Fei, let's do it. Everyone's doing it. If we don't, won't we be unable to keep up? He also yearned for power, especially after being sent flying with just one move from Lien Wuchao. His heart thirsted for it even more. Long Fei looked at them, his fists clenched tightly. Then do it. Yay! The Iron Head Squadron is ready to leave the city. Su Su became excited. Long Fei said, Iron Head Battle Team is not suitable. We should call them Iron Head Battle Team. Chapter 28-22, Encountering Bandits. Chapter 28-22. Encountering bandits. The various secret exits of East Imperial City were all filled with people. There was a long queue, but it was also because there were no city gates. Otherwise, there was no need to be like this. However, ever since the establishment of the East Imperial City, there had never been such a wave of people leaving the city. Three-class families, second-rate family, first-rate family, nobility. Even the people from the Dongwon College were rushing out of the city in droves. Han Wei's instantaneous breakthrough was like a nuclear bomb's explosion, giving rise to a huge impact in the East Imperial City. If one could obtain a metal fragment, they could become a powerhouse of the East Imperial City, or even an overlord. Who wouldn't want to obtain the God's Tribe's sacred artifact? It was time to change fate. When the power of East Imperial City was being reshuffled, no one wanted to miss this chance. However, to Long Fei, the temptation of the metals and the violet gold Godguard's armor, harboring a large amount of power, was not even close to the experience of these people. Universal value. He left the city for the metal pieces for Lan Mei. However, he wanted to level up even more. Lan Clan's secret exit. Elder Swordsman was on the side, puffing smoke, not looking at Long Fei and the others. Long Fei actually wanted to understand more about the violet gold Godguard from Elder Swordsman, but he didn't seem to care about it at all, and furthermore, Long Fei could feel a very strong killing intent from him. Long Fei could only give up. "All right, you can go back now," Long Fei said to Lan Mei and Fu Shishan. Lan Mei looked at Long Fei and said, "Be careful. If that's not possible, come back." Actually, he did not continue. Actually, she wanted to say what her father had said before he left. Make her marry Long Fei. It was just that she did not have the face to say it out loud, and adding the fact that Long Fei rejected her last time. Long Fei replied, "I will be careful." Fu Shishan said indifferently, "You don't have to worry about the matters inside the city. I will take good care of Lan Clan. In addition, our business alliance of Fu family will also send out a caravan to station. If you need any supplies or help, just report my name." The merchant union would always know how to do business. Other people thought about how to find the armor and metal, while business alliance of Fu family wanted to open up a shop. This way he could make a huge profit. Long Fei nodded and said, "I'll remember." "All right, I'm going." Long Fei walked into the passage with big strides. Following that, Lan Mei and Fu Shishan also left the dilapidated small courtyard. He sat at the corner of the courtyard and smoked some smoke. After hesitating for a while, he also entered the tunnel. He couldn't bear it either. Hiding in this East Imperial City without any hope, living like a mouse, with a ball of fire burning in his heart all these years. There was no goal, no hope. This time, the slaughter of the violet gold Godguard and the metal that contained the God's Tribe's energy sprinkled onto the universal realm. Could this be an opportunity? Moreover, after all these years, his cultivation had not improved at all. It was also because the environment of the East Imperial City was too harsh. If he could find 1 or 2 pieces of violet gold armor and metals, would he make another breakthrough? Even if he knew that the power of the violet gold armor was extremely dangerous, he didn't want to miss it in the end. He was really afraid that he would die like this in this city where no one knew him. Who is he? What had he done? He really didn't want to die in the dark. We're out of the city again. This time, I won't be like last time. Susu's face was filled with excitement. He grabbed Long Fei's arm and said softly, "I brought a lot of holy artifact this time. Don't be afraid of encountering Gue Shou's group again." Long Fei laughed bitterly. However, without waiting for Susu to finish speaking, a large group of people rushed out. One after another, they surrounded Long Fei and the rest. "Little girl, what holy artifact did you bring? Show it to me," a man said with a smile. "This girl is really pretty. I like it. If you like it later, it's your turn." There were more than 10 sturdy men, and each of them had a cultivation of general level. Zhu Tian bellowed, "What do you want to do?" A brawny guy laughed contemptuously. "What are you doing? Can't you see what I'm doing? What a bunch of kids. Just by looking at us, you can tell that we are robbers." "Did you hear that? Robbing. Take out all the precious things from the space ring for me." Each of them stared at them with fiendish looks. Some people went out to find energy metals, some went out to open shops to sell things, and there were also a lot of people who wanted to kill and loot the strong man in front of them. Susu said angrily, "Do you know who I am?" "Girl, you're so naive." The sturdy man laughed. "I don't care who you are. In the city, you are a young miss of a noble family, but outside the city, even if you are the daughter of the city lord, it is useless because this is outside the city. Listen up, bring out all the good stuff." While he was speaking, the corner of Long Fei's eyes looked towards Lung Feng. Lung Feng nodded lightly. Shua! Shua! Two figures rushed out. Boom! Boom! With two loud bangs, the two strong men fell to the ground. At the same time, the two of them attacked again without a pause. The brawny men also reacted and drew their machetes, saying solemnly, "You want to die? Then I shall grant your wish, brothers, to cripple them." Over 10 sturdy men rushed forward at the same time. Long Fei grinned. "I was just worrying about my lack of experience. All of you must die. Leaving you alive is also a disaster." The Gale Fist was repeatedly thrown out, creating a series of crazed yet violent punches. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits for obtaining 10,000 experience points, 1,000 true spiritual value points, and 1 universal value point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits for obtaining 10,000 experience points, 1,000 true spiritual value points, and 1 universal value point. The system exploded. A few minutes later. "And I was wrong. I don't dare to do it again. Please let me go this time." The sturdy man knelt on the ground and kowtowed as he pleaded, "I have eyes but failed to recognize MT Tai. Please let me go." Susu huffed. "Let you go? You wish." The brawny man immediately said, "As long as you let me go, I can give you all some top-secret information. I know where that purple fireball is located. As long as you let me go, I'll definitely tell you." Everyone was shocked. The purple metal that fell into the East Imperial City was just a small piece. It was fragments of the armor. But what was that huge purple fireball? Was it an entire set of violet gold divine armor? Moreover, the big families in East Imperial City all aimed their huge figures at the purple fireball. Susu became excited and said, "All right, I promise you. Speak." The sturdy man said, "It's at the border between the Wormhole Valley and the Ice Plains. I was just outside the city when the purple light descended from the sky. I saw it fall in that direction with my own eyes." "All right," I said, "can I go now?" The brawny man got up. Without waiting for him to run, Lung Feng took a step forward, but before that, Long Fei threw out a punch. Chapter 28-23, Backlash of Amethyst Strength. Chapter 28-23, Backlash of Amethyst Strength. Boom. A palm struck the brawny man's chest. The sturdy man stared at Long Fei angrily, his face pale white. He said, No, aren't you letting me go?" Long Fei said indifferently, "That's what she said. I didn't say." Bam! The brawny man fell to the ground. The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing bandits for gaining 12,000 experience, 1,100 true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Night Spirit Bone. 2 notifications sounded. Long Fei frowned. Something dropped. Looking at the Night Spirit Bone that had just exploded, Long Fei's heart was slightly moved. There's still some blood on it. It should have been after killing the Night Valley's demon beast. Susu muttered with her small mouth, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Didn't I promise to let him go? Why did you do it again? If word of this gets out, I'll say I broke my promise." Lung Feng said indifferently, "He must die. If he doesn't die, he will be careful by telling more people. And how many people do we know about this?" Even if Long Fei had not made his move just now, he would have. "Oh," Susu faintly said. She had experienced too few things and had no idea that the people in this world were sinister. Tandapeo looked at Long Fei's tightly furrowed brows and couldn't help but ask, "Brother Fei, what's wrong?" Long Fei asked, "Just now, where did he say he is?" Tandapeo said, I did not say the specific location. He only said that he is outside the city. Big Brother Long Fei. Let's quickly go to the place he mentioned. The place where the impulse and the ice plains intersect. The place where... Susu muttered to himself for a while. Nailin Xia took out an exquisite map and looked it over. If this is the border, then it should be here, the insect abyss. Susu immediately said, "We will go immediately." Long Fei shook his head. "What if he is lying to us?" Lung Feng asked slightly. "Do you know something?" Long Fei shook his head. "I just don't think it's that simple. If he knew the landing point of the purple big fireball, why wouldn't he go by himself? Why do you want to be a bandit in this place?" Susu said, "Perhaps he's afraid of danger, so he doesn't dare to go." Zhu Tian said, "Could it be that he doesn't know that the purple metal possesses great power? None of this is possible. No matter how dangerous it was, when faced with tremendous power, no one would miss it. Moreover, with so many people leaving the city, even if they didn't know what had happened in the city, they should still be able to guess that there wouldn't be enough time to become a bandit. There must be a reason." Lung Feng said, "What do you think?" Long Fei said, "I feel that this might be a trap, or perhaps he's just talking about a random place to protect his life." While they were talking, Long Fei rummaged through the strong man's body, took out the night spirit bone from the space ring, and said, "This is the night spirit bone from his body. The blood has not dried yet." In other words, he might have been to the Night Valley before. Night Valley and Impulse, the ice plains, are in completely the opposite direction. Even if he was in Night Valley, it would be impossible for him to see the landing point of the purple-colored big fireball. Lung Feng said, "What you mean is the purple big fireball could be in Night Valley?" Long Fei shook his head. "It's hard to say." Zhu Tian muttered, "Will he be in the ghost cave?" Long Fei almost did not think about it, and immediately replied, "No way." Lung Feng looked at Long Fei, surprised for a moment, and felt that it was strange. Long Fei did not explain either. He knew clearly in his heart that if the purple big fireball fell into the ghost cave, the Queen of Blood Moon would have informed him already. Susu said anxiously, "Then what do we do now?" Long Fei said, "I want to split into 2 teams to first investigate the situation and then make the decision." Just as Long Fei finished speaking, Susu held on to Long Fei's arm tightly and said, "I want to go with Big Brother Long Fei." Zhu Tian said, "Isn't it better not to spread things out like this?" Lung Feng said, "The 7 of us will split into 2 teams. We will go to the insect abyss, but how do we notify the other party?" Long Fei said, "You don't have to worry about this. Someone will inform you later." The ghost soldiers were already in position. Seeing Long Fei say that, Lung Feng immediately said, "Let's go." Zhu Tian, Nailin Xia, and Nailin Yu all followed him. After walking a distance, Zhu Tian asked in confusion, "Brother Lung Feng, why do you trust him so much?" "Yeah, he has no basis. Also, how does he know whether or not the ghastly cave is here? Did something else happen after we left last time? I heard that the tree demon in Black Hell Valley was killed by someone a few days ago." Nailin Yu said. Lung Feng said slightly, "Even if Long Fei was hiding his strength, he probably wouldn't harm us. Don't worry about it for now. Let's go to the insect abyss first." Long Fei was also rushing to the Night Valley. His intuition told him that the bandit must be lying. The Hellhole, Night Valley, Wormhole, Ice Plains, and Western regions were all dangerous places, and any one of them was extremely dangerous. Add the approaching winter. The deeper they went into the mountains, the colder it became. Long Fei made a gesture of silence. The 3 of them crouched down and held their breath. "Look carefully, don't miss a single inch of it. As long as we can find a metal fragment, we'll be rich. Search carefully." Suddenly, buzz! A black shadow flashed past like a ghost. Next, crack! The head that spoke was cut off. Half of his body stood on the spot as blood spurted out. In that instant, shwa, shwa, shwa. Swish, swish, swish. The search party of more than a dozen people were all killed within a few seconds. With a pitch-black sound, they were dragged by the sharp claws on the fingers of a half-cat man. They were exceptionally fierce, and after they were all killed, the demon beast dragged a dozen or so human corpses into the darkness. Su was struck dumb by the sudden change, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Guisho was ugly. She could endure it. However, the night cat demon beast in the Night Valley was so cruel, her mind could not take it anymore. Not only did she kill people, she even ate meat. After a long time, Long Fei said lightly, "Let's go." The three of them moved forward again. Outside the city, somewhere, a huge tent. Han Weia sat cross-legged. The diamond-shaped purple gold on his forehead continued to glow. He was continuously absorbing the energy inside the purple gold. It was extremely dense. It was incomparably thick. The sound of footsteps came from outside the tent. Han Weia retracted his aura and opened his eyes. The instant he opened his eyes, his pupils shone with a violet light. "Vice Principal." An old man walked into the tent. Han Weia slightly said, "Is there an idea now?" The old man shook his head. "Not yet. But after receiving news, City Lord Su Wan has already collected a purple metal, but he has not fused with it." "It hasn't fused yet." Han Weia frowned. "Then that's strange. Can he resist the temptation of the God's tribe's power?" At this moment, Han Weia suddenly felt pain between his eyebrows. The densely packed meridian channels on his forehead appeared, as if he had been possessed. Chapter 28-24. Chapter 28-24 in an instant. The pupils of his eyes turned ice crystal purple. The old man shivered slightly. "Vice Principal." Not waiting for him to finish, Shua, Han Weia moved his body and instantly crushed the old man's head, causing blood to spurt out all over the ground. Instant kill. Han Weia let out a heavy sound. The veins on his forehead had turned purple, and even his hair had turned purple. The purple crystal on his forehead released waves of power. His entire body felt extremely uncomfortable. Han Weia was Han Weia after all. The vice principal of the Dongwon College was also a peak expert of the East Imperial City. Facing the inside of the purple crystal, which was erupting with such strong power, his mind suddenly sank. Both of his hands formed a seal, and streams of breath of true spirit rushed out. His body trembled. A few seconds passed. Purple hair turned white. The meridians on his forehead became normal. His eyes recovered. The energy inside the purple crystal slowly returned to normal, and Han Weia let out a long sigh. He looked at the dead elder. Han Weia clenched his fists tightly, and his teeth chattered loudly. "Su Wan too. Why did you not fuse with me? Do you know something?" He recalled the scene at East Imperial City. It was obvious that the purple metal fragment was rushing towards Su Wan too, but in the end, it had entered the space between his eyebrows. Why was that? In that previous scene, he was not a human, neither was he a ghost. He almost went berserk, causing Han Weia's heart to turn cold as he instantly flew out of the tent. "If you step on me for the rest of your life, I will absolutely not let you step on me again." After a day and night of traveling, Long Fei and the other two finally entered the center of Night Valley. Although the Night Valley was called a valley, it was actually a huge plain. It was just that there were countless caves in the plains, making it look like a valley. The majority of the demon beast here only came out at night, so they rarely met during the day. However, if they entered the cave, it would be different. The Night Valley was an underground world. The demon beast here had darkness attribute. Many demon beasts were slowly evolved over millions of years. Half human, half cat, half human, half cow. It combined the intelligence of humans and the physique of demon beast. Very strong. Long Fei had met many of them in the span of a day and night, and now he suspected that the Winter East Imperial City was unable to withstand the attacks this year. "Brother Fei, look." Suddenly, Tandapeo pointed to the distance and said, "There's a scratch there." It was at least a few meters wide. Long Fei frowned and looked in the direction of the scar. Not far away was a concave valley. His heart tensed up. Where should be the landing point? It can't be wrong. "It's here." Su became excited and asked, "Did we come to the right place?" Long Fei nodded. "Big brother Long Fei, You're too smart. Baji. Su Su directly kissed Long Fei on the cheek. Long Fei was startled. Tandapeo asked, "What about Lung Feng and the rest?" Long Fei said, "I will inform them now." Su Su was jumping with excitement. Hee hee, I finally found it. I finally found it. I want to prove it to father. I'm not that useless. At this moment, buzz. A buzzing sound was heard. Without waiting for Long Fei to notify the ghost soldier, his forehead tightened and he suddenly shouted, "Be careful." He turned around and looked. His scalp felt a little numb as a black sharp blade slashed at Su Su. Long Fei grabbed Su Su's arm and suddenly grabbed her and rolled over. Boom! The ground cracked, and the spot that Su Su was standing on earlier was quickly set ablaze, becoming a ball of black. There was poison on the sharp blade? It was somewhat similar to an underworld fire. At this moment, Long Fei didn't even think about it much. He shouted at Tandapeo, "Run!" Tandapeo's reaction was extremely fast. His cultivation was not high, but he rose from a lower plane. With decades of experience in cultivation, his reaction was extremely fast. When Su Su hugged Su Su, she didn't feel any fear. Instead, she had a blissful expression. Even in her dreams, she wanted to be hugged like this by Long Fei. Long Fei slapped her butt and shouted, "You're still infatuated. Hurry up and run." Su Su almost jumped out from the pain. Her tears were about to flow as she looked at Long Fei as she muttered to herself. Long Fei pulled her small hands and quickly ran out. He turned around to look at the demon beast in the darkness. Damn, what the hell is this thing? He couldn't see it at all, but he was sure that it was definitely a demon beast. The three of them ran for half an hour. The demon beast behind him had not made a single move since the moment he made his move. It was as if his aura had completely disappeared. Hoo. Tandapeo panted heavily and asked, "Brother Fei, what is that thing?" Long Fei shook his head and said, "I don't know. Let's not worry about it for now and leave this place first." Leave? Where do you want to go? A familiar voice sounded. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Lien Wu Chao. Tendapeo's mind also suddenly tensed up. At this time, in the darkness, Lien Wu Chao walked out with a few Lien family disciples and an elder. A pleased cold smile hung on Lien Wu Chao's face. "Your luck is really good. To think that I would meet you two trash here." Tendapeo's right arm moved, circulating his energy. But, without waiting for Lien Wu Chao to raise his Black Panther too much, a launcher beside him immediately summoned his cannon. The cannon was around the size of a human head, and it aimed straight at Tandapeo. The same launcher. But the difference between the two was extraordinary. Lien Wu Chao laughed coldly and said, "Move. Try moving again." Long Fei slightly said, "Move a bit. This is the Night Valley. If you dare to randomly release your power, I believe that not even half a minute will pass, and you'll be surrounded by the Night Valley's demon beast." "Ha!" Lien Wu Chao immediately laughed out loud and said, "You think I don't dare? Attack." Suddenly, he gave the order. The Lien family disciple also instantly pulled the trigger. Bang! An energy cannon shot out. Long Fei frowned. Tandapeo was not a pushover. The moment the Lien family disciple pulled the trigger, he also suddenly took action, and with a few kacha sounds, an energy cannon shot out. Bam! Two cannonballs collided. The strange thing was, there was no explosion, not even a sound. Lien Wu Chao laughed coldly and said, "Have you never seen the silencing cannon before? No sound can spread out from a 200-meter radius. Do you think I can touch you now?" "Ha ha!" Long Fei's eyes darkened. Protecting Su Su behind him, the idea moved. Xiao Qian, get ready. Right at this moment, Su Su walked out from behind Long Fei and said, "Lien Wu Chao, try touching him." Lien Wu Chao stared at Su Su blankly for a bit, then grinned and sneered. "So it's young Miss Su, you want to protect him?" Su Su said, "Of course I have to protect my man." Quickly scram. Lien Wu Chao's eyes turned cold. Others might not know Su Su's identity, but he was clear about it. City Lord Su Wantu's daughter, and the only daughter. Even if her father was the #1 expert of East Imperial City, just the fact that she was by her side was enough to make her proud. Moreover, Lien Kaijiang had warned him again and again to not provoke the Su family. If you offend anyone, you cannot offend the Su family. The Su family is a clan that treats patients, and other than that, the name Su Wanted did not come here for no reason. Su Su said, "Did you hear that? I told you to scram further away." Lien Wuchao's heart was in disarray as his anger surged. He said in a deep voice, "Miss Su, this is outside the city, not the East Imperial City. Do you think you're still the city's eldest miss? To put it bluntly, no one will know even if you die here. Attack." Suddenly, Lien Wuchao ordered. At this moment, Long Fei took the initiative and moved the idea, big move. Chapter 28-25, Night Valley S Injuries. Chapter 28-25, Night Valley S Injuries, Enlargement Stroke. As soon as he finished, behind Long Fei, suddenly appeared. With an ice-cold expression, he pulled on the ice bow and released an arrow. At such a close distance, there was no way to dodge at all. Lien Wuchao was instantly shot. Bam! 1920 F***CK. Long Fei's heart sank, such low damage. When he had hit Lien Wuchao, his damage was already at 6 digits, but it was not even 2,000 now. The difference in damage between the two was like difference of 10,000 miles, which also showed that Lien Wuchao was way stronger than him. Immediately, Long Fei immediately grabbed Su Su's hand and shouted at him, "Run!" He swiftly ran out. Eldest young master! Eldest young master! A few disciples of the Lien family and the elder also did not chase after Long Fei. To Long Fei, Lien Wuchao was more important. Lien Wuchao was stunned in place. The moment he was hit by the magical crystal, he couldn't move at all. After being stunned for 3.5 seconds, his body suddenly moved. Damn it! A deep sound. Lien Wuchao's eyes were brimming with fury. Looking at the Long Fei who had already disappeared into the darkness, his eyes slightly narrowed as he let out a cold laugh. If that young Miss Su returns alive and tells Su Wan what happened just now, then you... The old man said lightly. Lien Wuchao laughed coldly and said, "They won't go back." The elder immediately asked, "Do you want me to chase them?" Lien Wuchao said, "No need. They are currently running deep into the Night Valley. That is the most dangerous place in the Night Valley. They will not be able to live. Even if we survive. Haha. The entire Night Valley is my people, and they won't be able to escape from my grasp." And then Lien Wuchao ordered, "Go and notify my grandfather that the largest landing point for the Purple Flames has been found. It is at Night Valley. Let him reinforce us immediately." Long Fei and the others could see the scratches on the hillside. Lien Wuchao had also noticed it. Moreover, smoke continuously rose up from the valley not far away. It was certain that this was the place where they were going to land. A lot of people went to the ice field. However, there were not many people in Night Valley, and most of the people here were from Lien family. Once Lien Kaijiang arrived, he was ready to make his move. Lien Wuchao looked into the distance, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled. "I just so happened to let you two scout out for me. Do you think you can escape from me? No matter who killed my brother, you will all be buried with him." Cold and ruthless. Huff, huff. Su Su panted heavily, his chest rising and falling uncontrollably, his face red and filled with anger. "Lien Wuchao dares to attack me. When we return, I will definitely not forgive him." Tandapeo said slightly, "We can talk after we return. This is the Night Valley's hinterland." In other words, they had already reached the most dangerous place in Night Valley. Long Fei looked around. There were many caves, and these caves were all emitting an aura of power. There must be Night Valley demon beast below them. It was just that there was something strange about it. They did not hide their auras, and logically speaking, they should have already been crowned by the Night Valley's demon beast after running for such a long time, but they did not see any of them. So what if it's the Night Valley's hinterland? Don't let me go back, otherwise I will definitely make his Lien family look good. Humph. Susu was still very angry. Tandapeo was a little contemptuous. Long Fei squatted by the side of the cave, and the idea slightly moved. That's strange. Why aren't there any demon beasts? Susu said. Isn't it good to have no demon beast? You still hope that the demon beast will chase after us. Tandapeo also noticed that something was wrong with his surroundings. This was completely different from the Hintry area, where demon beasts were everywhere, but here, the more Long Fei thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Susu pointed in the distance and said, There is smoke coming out from there. Is that where the purple flames fell? Long Fei looked up and saw thick smoke rising from a deep valley not far away. Tandapeo looked at the scratches in the distance and said, It can't be wrong. It should be that place. Ha ha! Susu immediately laughed excitedly and said, We found it, Big brother Long Fei, we're going to send it. Now let's see who dares to look down on me. As they spoke, Susu ran towards the valley. Long Fei also quickly went over. Half an hour later, lying at the mouth of the valley, the three of them looked down, their expressions suddenly changing. A purple glow constantly flashed out from the cave. It was very dazzling. However, a large number of demon beasts had died in the surrounding area. Corpses were strewn across the fields, and the entire valley was filled with corpses. What was strange was that these demon beasts did not have any bloodstains on their bodies, nor were there any wounds on their bodies, or standing, or fall. Their eyes were all filled with incomparable terror as they witnessed an unimaginably terrifying scene. Furthermore, their bodies were all facing the same direction as they died. Tandapeo muttered, What is happening? Aren't they Night Valley's demon beasts? Weren't they evolved from demons, devils, ghosts, or the like? Is there anything in this world that they are afraid of? And, Brother Fei, look at their bodies. They don't have any injuries. They look like they've been petrified. How did it turn out like this? Even the violet gold armor fragments in East Imperial City did not have such an effect, Tandapeo asked. Long Fei looked at each and every one of them and muttered to himself, They should have died in an instant, and moreover, there was no way to dodge them. Tandapeo secretly clicked his tongue. Isn't this power too terrifying? Susu looked at the valley to see if there were any demon beast, grinned, and said, We'll find out once we get down there. Without waiting for Long Fei to stop her, she had already walked down the valley. The valley was shrouded in thick smoke, and from time to time, purple lights would shine from the cave. The surroundings were very quiet, without a single sound. Long Fei and the other two walked down the valley. Susu walked in front of a giant cat demon and lightly touched it. Walala! His body instantly disintegrated into fine powder. Long Fei trembled. At the beginning, he only felt that it was because their heart veins had been shattered, but now it seemed that it was far more serious than what he had said. And it wasn't even a hit. It was just an energy shockwave. When he walked into the valley, he discovered that everything had become charred black. He stepped on the thick layer of dust, and it was hard to imagine what had happened when he crashed into the valley. Looks like Night Valley doesn't have much power to attack East Imperial City this year. Tandapeo muttered, This is too fucking cruel. What kind of power is this? At this moment, Long Fei's gaze darkened, and he immediately shouted, Be careful. Buzz! 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 Before he finished speaking, a few rays of Yimei fell. Long Fei, Tandapeo, and Susu all carried sharp blades that flashed with a cold light on their necks. Chapter 28-26, Triplets Sisters. Chapter 28-26, Triplets Sisters, a cold chill. A cold aura permeated the air. With just a slight movement, that sharp blade would be able to cut open the great arteries. At this moment, Long Fei's body instantly stiffened, and he immediately said to Susu and the others, Don't move recklessly. 3 Yimei. Their entire bodies were pitch black, and their appearances couldn't be seen. However, they looked like females because their figures were extremely similar to females. Tandapeo's gaze darkened as he looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes moved slightly, signaling for Tandapeo not to act carelessly, because if these three Yi-Meis wanted to kill them, it could be said that they were already dead. Su was a little young miss, so he shouted loudly, "Who are you? How dare you sneak attack me? Do you know who I am?" Long Fei slightly said, "If you have something to say, please say it well. We do not have any ill intentions." One of the three Yi-Mei spoke in crappy human language. "Let's go." And then his body moved and directly pushed himself onto Long Fei's body. Long Fei asked, "Where to?" "Just move forward." Yi-Mei's voice was somewhat cold. Tandapeo looked at Long Fei and said solemnly, "Boss, I'll cover them. You should take the chance and make your move." Not waiting for him to finish, one of Yi-Mei's said, "If you dare move even a bit, you will immediately die." As soon as he finished, the sharp blades in their hands seemed as if they could transform into hooks with a cautious sound and directly wrapped around the necks of the three of them. As long as they used even a little bit of strength, Long Fei and the other two's heads would fall off. Even if Long Fei had the immortal transformation of the Heaven Martial Dragon's divine transformation, it was still useless. If he lost his head, how could he not die with 0 blood? Long Fei also said slightly, "Don't worry, we won't recklessly move." She lightly shook her head at Tandapeo. Moreover, in front of them was a huge cave. Beside the cave, there were traces of drag marks. Clearly, if the purple flames really fell here, they would definitely be dragged into the cave. They were here for the purple light flame, so entering the cave would be for the best. The Thousand Ghost Assembly of the Ghost Hole. Underground City of the Wormhole. Hell's Hall of the Icy Plains. The mysterious cave of the Night Valley was the most dangerous place out of the 4 great families, and also the most peculiar place. So far, there was no one who was still alive after entering, except Long Fei. Just as they were about to reach the entrance of the cave, several rays of cold wind blew past Long Fei's body. 2 black shadows descended, and one of them, whose entire body was a silvery gray, spoke with an icy voice that seemed like it came from a dragon. "Not bad. We caught 3 humans, but what's the use? The 3 of you can't change anything. Just give up obediently. When you become my ghost concubine, you will also be at the peak of power in the Night Valley." Finished. The silver-gray shadow flew out, its cold laughter still echoing in the valley. The bodies of the 3 Yi-Mei trembled slightly. One of them was on the verge of tears. Long Fei said, "If you have any difficulties, tell me. Maybe I can help you." No matter what, something had to be done, and something big must have happened to the Night Valley now. So many people had died in the valley. One of the Yi-Mei wanted to speak, but was stopped by the other person, who said coldly, "Let's go." He walked into the cave. The 3 of them were slightly startled. The cave was like a palace. Its interior was far larger than what Long Fei and the others had imagined. The Night Valley clan people inside were also in a hurry. Upon seeing Yi-Mei and the other 2 bowing respectfully, some coldly ridiculing, while some old people ignored them. Half an hour later, Long Fei and the other 2 were locked in a room. The room was transparent. On one side was the corridor, and on the other side was a huge sky ditch, and the purple light was coming from the sky ditch. Tandapeo's face was also filled with shock as he said, "Brother Fei, it's right below us." Su also laughed. "We have to think of a way down." Long Fei said, "Don't be anxious. We don't even know how deep this sky pit is, and what exactly is that ball of purple light. We don't know." The purple light would not leave, so Long Fei was not worried. What was he worried about now? It wasn't just them. There were also many people locked up in the surrounding rooms. Some of them had just been captured, while others had been locked up for a period of time. Everyone in the Night Valley were in a hurry, as if they were all very nervous. Humans were constantly caught and brought in. What was going on? Why are you capturing so many humans? Do you want to do some research? Long Fei muttered to himself. Su also said, "The powers of the Night Valley hate humans the most. They're the first ones to launch an attack on the East Imperial City every year in the midwinter." He didn't understand. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath, turned and sat cross-legged, swallowed a Zhongling pills, and converted it into normal practice mode, then said lightly, "Recuperate and store your energy. Make the best use of your time to rest." Su Su mumbled as he changed his posture. Tandapeo did not cultivate. When Long Fei was cultivating, he felt that he did not know how to cultivate. Long Fei did not waste any time cultivating in normal mode. He spent an hour of time on it every day. Although it was still pretty much the same as the beginning, he could still obtain quite a few experience points after an hour of normal cultivation with the help of Zhongling pills. 1 hour later, Long Fei opened his eyes slightly, and his mind moved. Convert experience points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 62,420 experience points. His experience points is more than 60,000 units in an hour, and it's still too little. I have to hurry and cultivate. Long Fei felt his scalp tingling just watching the leveled up 100 million experience. The leveling speed was too slow. Demon beasts were too hard to kill. Is this the highest difficulty? After completing the normal mode, Long Fei did not linger around to train his skills. Time passed by second. Suddenly, boom! A loud bell sound echoed in every corner of the cave. Long Fei suddenly stood up. Su Su was also shocked. Drool hung down from the corner of his mouth as he stomped his feet in anger. I almost ate a chicken leg. Long Fei looked at Tandapeo and asked, "When?" It was the same inside the cave day and night. Tandapeo said, "It should be early in the morning. Come out. All of you come out and die. All of you useless ants. Get out here right now." Suddenly, a large group of Night Clan guards came and opened up the cells one by one, chasing the people inside out. The strange thing was, no one opened up Long Fei and the other cells. Long Fei slightly asked, "What's the situation?" Tandapeo said, "I have observed for the entire night. From their words, I can roughly guess that this is King of Night Valley's competition. Old Night King doesn't seem to be going to make it. I was knocked half to death by the purple light flames. Now I only have my last breath left. And the one who caught us yesterday was the triplet's daughter of the Old Night King, but the only humans they have captured are the three of us. So the three of us must represent them. If we lose, we will die, and the three of us will become the playthings of the new Night King." Chapter 28-27, Descendant of the Ming Clan? Chapter 28-27, Descendant of the Ming Clan? Then haven't we become their toys? Su Su said in displeasure. Tandapeo replied, "More or less. The key is, you made triplets only caught the three of us, but those other people caught so many people we definitely could not stop the battle." Tandapeo looked at Long Fei and said, "Brother Fei, what should we do?" At this moment, everyone in the cells all walked out, leaving Long Fei and the other two behind. Not long later, the three Yimeis walked to the front of the cell. Long Fei also walked up to them and looked at them. It was still the same as last night. Their faces were covered by veils, making it hard to see their appearances. However, judging from their figures, they should not be bad-looking. But one thing was different from last night. There was an exclamation mark above their heads. Task flags? Or the 7 meridians? Long Fei's expression tightened, and immediately said, "I can help you." Tandapeo and Su Su were startled. The eyes of the three Yimeis flashed a hint of light as well, but it disappeared in an instant. How could they believe the words of a general-level human? Moreover, the general level was the weakest amongst all the humans they had caught. They, too, had been laughed at all night. Not only that, most of the people in the Night Valley clan drew a clear line between them. They would definitely lose this time's King of Night Valley selection. Su Su muttered, "Are you crazy?" Tandapeo was also puzzled, let alone taking turns to fight. Just with their cultivation, they were not his opponents. How could they win? Long Fei did not know either, but he wanted to activate the quest and see what it was about. However, these words did not mean that the mission was activated. They did not believe Long Fei at all. It didn't activate? Force my enlargement stroke. Moreover, Long Fei could not let go of any of the missions now, let go of the rewards of any of the missions, since they did not believe that Long Fei could only go through enlargement stroke. The idea moved. Activate 100 charm value. Ding! Activation successful. In an instant, Long Fei's appearance did not change much, but the aura his body was emitting was instantly filled with magic, and with that aura, the three Yimeis were instantly attracted. Su Su also had a face full of infatuation, almost to the point of undressing himself. Tandapeo was also shaking his head. He could not control himself. What's going on? I'm not gay. I'm not gay. How could I be enchanted by Brother Fei? I won't. Impossible. I'm definitely not gay. Tandapeo couldn't control himself. He wanted to go crazy. Long Fei's body seemed to be releasing a demonic energy. Both men and women killed each other. This was the strength of 100 points of charm value. Su Su tugged her cheeks with her fist, her eyes shining, with a face full of infatuation. Big Brother Long Fei is so handsome. The eyes of the three Yimeis also shone, as they could not help but lean forward. Long Fei said again, I can help you. This was completely different from the answer he had just received. The three Yimeis quickly nodded and said, Master, can you really help us? Long Fei replied, Of course. The three Yimeis said at the same time, Thank you, sir. Can you help us win the Night King's election? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest. Help Yimei win the King of Night Valley. Mission: win the King of Night Valley level. S-time: 1 day reward. 100 million experience. Random lottery draw. New system evolution. Obtained from the Yimei sisters. Punishment: death. Ding. Do you accept? Looking at the system notification, Long Fei's eyes became serious. Damn, if I fail the mission then I die? Isn't this punishment a little too harsh? However, task reward is also the same, directly giving us 100 million experience. Sure, roger that. Isn't life like this? Long Fei moved his body and accepted the mission. Then he said to the three sisters, Okay, I'll agree to it. But after completing the mission, you should let us go, right? The three sisters quickly nodded and said, Definitely. The prison door opened as Long Fei and the other two walked out of the cell, following behind the three sisters. Triplets have the same height, weight, and body. If I can make them. Long Fei was somewhat evil. However, he did not even need to use any evil intentions. Just the fact that he had 100 charm value meant that there was no woman in this world who could resist him. Long Fei withdrew his charm value. Tandapeo was the first to react. Phew, I really am not gay. No matter how charming Fei Ji is, I can't be gay with him. Ba, he prayed. Su Su was also startled, but she still had a face full of infatuation when she looked at Long Fei. When the three sisters woke up, they were stunned for a moment. They were a little afraid of what they had just done, but that was all they could do now. Heh. I advise the three of you not to struggle to the death. Be my concubine. An old man laughed sinisterly. Behind him, there were over 100 people crowded around, all captured by him. Big Sister said, Elder Huang, the selection is not over yet. It's not certain who will win. Old man Huang sneered. You think you can win with just the three trash behind you? Haha, I only asked you to admit defeat because you're my niece. If it was anyone else, I would have already ridden you under my crotch. The faces of the three sisters sank. At this moment, Night King has arrived. For people were lifting a huge bed, and on the bed lay an old man, his breath slowly flowing away. His entire body was heavily injured, and his face was pale, but his eyes were exceptionally lively as he said, Let's not talk anymore. Let's begin. I don't have much time left. Cough, cough, cough. A quick cough. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. The three girls wanted to go forward, but they were stopped. They couldn't even get close to their father. Because the old Night King had the Night King's legacy. If they were to obtain this power, then there was no need to choose. Let's begin. As soon as he finished, Old Man Huang's finger moved slightly, and he said faintly, Go, slaves. If you win, you will live. If you lose, you will die. A few humans rushed out. At the same time, the three Yimei sisters were slightly startled as they jumped onto the stage. Old man Huang laughed coldly. You actually went up first by yourself? Then you guys can go and die. Long Fei looked at the old man on the bed. His chi startled Long Fei. Strange, why does this look like the chi of the Ming clan? Grandfather, look at the scar on the hillside. It should be the Night Valley. And I just received news that the king of Night Valley was crippled by the purple flames. He won't be able to live for more than a few days. This is an extremely rare opportunity for us. Lian Wuchao was excited. Lian Kaijiang was also incomparably excited. He knew about Han Wuya. If he could fuse with one of the gods' tribe's powers, he would be able to break through his shackles and enter the royal realm. At that time, the person who found the gods' tribe's curse mark would be the sole ruler of the East Imperial City. Lian Kaijiang's finger moved slightly, and she said coldly, Disciples of the Lian family, listen up. Attack the Night Valley. Chapter 28:28. Bullying Women, What is this skill? Chapter 28:28. Bullying Women, What is this skill? Using humans as a wager, they decided to win or lose. 300 lifesteal human warriors surrounded Yi Mei and the other two sisters in the middle. The fact that they went out to fight first instead of letting Long Fei and the other two fight made them very unhappy with the people of Night Valley Clan. To them, humans were ants that should not live in this world. They did not have the right to live in this world. Kill her. Kill them all. Kill. Many people from Night Valley Clan began to shout out, extremely angry at the actions of the three Yimei sisters. The corners of Elder Huang's mouth drew back as he laughed coldly. The trend is such that you have lost for sure. Attack. The order was given. Hundreds of human warriors instantly attacked. They were slaves here, and they had no other choice. Although they knew that their chances of survival were slim, they still held some hope. If we kill the three of them, we'll be able to live. Kill. Kill them all. Every single warrior had brought out their strongest fighting capabilities. They wanted to be more valuable in front of the old man Huang, so they might be able to let him go. Tan de Peo trembled slightly and said, Brother Fei, can the three of them handle it? Long Fei shook his head and said, I don't know. If they can't hold on, then they will lose for sure. Su Su was a little confused. Why didn't we go meet them in battle? How did it become the three of them? Long Fei said indifferently, Have you heard of Tianji's horse racing? Tan de Peo and Su Su shook their heads at the same time. Who is Tianji? What happened to the horse race? Air. Long Fei was startled. He forgot that it was a story from ancient China and immediately said, Simply put, we should use a good horse to deal with their inferior horses and win first. Even if I lose, it'll be a draw if I use a lower horse against their upper horse. Tan de Peo scratched his head. Brother Fei, then which of the three sisters are we? Su Su did not hear it and said, I'm not a horse after all. Long Fei looked at the three sisters on the stage. He was not sure, but he knew that if he wanted them to fight against the 300 overhuman warriors, they would have no chance of winning. Because of the level, it could only be seen whether the three Yimei sisters could still hold on. Once they accepted it, there might be hope for this mission. As class mission, since it's activated at this time, there must be a way to complete it. Long Fei firmly believed that when a quest appeared, it was definitely impossible for some impossible missions to appear in the game. He was a professional gamer. He knew the rules of the game very well. Long Fei looked at the stage and said to himself, I must endure it. Of course, Long Fei's worries were a little excessive. The three Yimei sisters could be said to be more skillful in the arena. The combat power that they had erupted with exceeded Long Fei's expectations, the three of them standing back to back, as though they were one. Motion coordination, speed control, in that they are triplets, their minds are connected. If one of these human martial artists came, then one would die. If one of them came, then one would die. It was simply impossible to approach them. The sharp blades in their hands could be said to be abnormally powerful. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk whoosh whoosh whoosh, asterisk every time he attacked, someone would fall. His figure is like a ghost, his strength is like a mountain, his defense is like a shield, and his killing intent is like a god. Once he strikes, he will definitely die. Long Fei muttered. This coordination can be said to be perfect, an existence that could not be picky about. Their tacit understanding shocked Long Fei. Tandapeo was also extremely shocked, and said, "These three sisters are too awesome. So strong. It looks like we are inferior horses." Tandapeo looked at Long Fei and muttered, "I even thought we were high-class horses." Long Fei was a little embarrassed. Old Man Huang's expression did not change at all. He remained calm and collected, not angry at all, because human warriors could not rush into the arena. His face was filled with sneer. No matter how many humans died, he wouldn't feel sad. The same was true for the few elders beside him. The old man on the bed, who had already entered the gates of hell with one foot, had a calm expression without any ripples. His daughter's perfect cooperation did not have a hint of joy on her face. It was as if he didn't take them seriously at all. Human trash. What rubbish! If you can't even deal with 3 women, what's the use of you slaves? If I had known earlier, I would have killed them. Many Night Valley clan people clamored. He was not satisfied with the hundreds of human slaves, so much so that some of the Night Valley clan could not help but rush forward. Boom, boom, boom. Another wave of harvesting started. The number of human warriors was getting fewer and fewer. Lots after piles of dead bodies fell down the arena, and blood started dripping all over the ground. Although the 3 sisters had always held the upper hand and suppressed hundreds of human warriors, the consumption of their true spirit was enormous. "I won't be able to hold on for too long." Long Fei frowned. Tandapeo said, "Then it's all right. We will win soon. All that's left are some soft prawns with weak legs." Most of the human martial artists had already died. There were a few remaining who could not be considered a threat at all. However, at this time, Long Fei stared intently at Old Man Huang. Suddenly, Old Man Huang's figure disappeared. It was also at this moment that Long Fei yelled out, "Careful!" Before he could finish his sentence, Wang, a buzzing sound suddenly exploded. Bang, bang, bang. 3 consecutive punches. The 3 sisters instantly retreated, their faces pale, blood trickling down from the corners of their mouths. Each of them received serious injuries from a single palm strike, unable to withstand the power of the Old Man Huang at all. "Ha ha! Well fought! Kill them! Kill them all!" Everyone around was cheering. Old Man Huang sneered sinisterly. "I'll give you one last chance. Kneel down and admit defeat. Otherwise, die." A Yi Mei said angrily. "Elder Huang, you are our uncle after all. Aren't you ashamed to say such words?" "Ha ha! What is shame? Can I eat, or can I use it? Besides, why do you think I made you my ghost concubine? If it wasn't for the fact that the 3 of you look pretty good and have triplets, that is the best in the world, do you think you would be able to live until now?" Old Man Huang had a look of disdain. "Hurry up and make your choice. You can either be my plaything or die." The 3 sisters' bodies sank, and their auras gushed out again. Even if they were severely injured and lacked combat strength, they didn't want others to humiliate them. "Hee hee, it seems like you've already made your choice. Very well, I'll grant you that wish." The aura on Old Man Huang suddenly exploded out like a fierce tiger's roar. Streams of force, like arrows that were quickly shot out, charged straight towards the 3 sisters. At this moment, was so good about bullying women? Fight with Lousy if you dare. Chapter 28-29, Critical Hit. Chapter 28-29, Critical Hit. With that, the entire audience fell silent. Because the voice was not the voice of the people of Night Valley Clan, but the voice of a human. Tandapeo looked at Long Fei and was a little unable to react. Damn, this act of posturing. Isn't that a bit too much? While they were talking, Long Fei had already walked out. Susu immediately followed. The space between Old Man Huang's eyebrows trembled, and his gaze shifted to Long Fei. "I've seen people who aren't afraid of death, but I've never seen anyone who isn't afraid of death like you." His eyes were sharp, and his pressure was like a mountain. Boom, boom. Rumble. Long Fei's sea of consciousness was like a fighter jet bombarding. The powerful pressure crazily crushed him. It was extremely uncomfortable. However, Long Fei held on and pretended nothing happened as he walked toward the stage step by step and laughed. I have seen people bullying others, but I have never seen a man who bullies women like you. In my old home, people like you are dragged out to be fed to dogs. Old man Huang's gaze turned sinister. Their eyes became incomparably gloomy, filled with a cold, killing intent. Elder Huang, he said that you won't be fed to the dogs. Elder Huang, can you endure being humiliated by a human? This kid is too arrogant. What kind of place is this to dare act so arrogantly? Elder Huang, kill him. Kill him immediately. The surrounding Night Valley clan people clamored. This is the Night Valley. It was one of the 4 great dangerous grounds in the territory of the Western regions. One of the Night Valley clan people who had an irreconcilable feud with the human race. How dare a human act arrogantly here? Furthermore, he was only a human from the general level. Too arrogant. The people of Night Valley clan could not tolerate it. The old man Huang laughed coldly and said, "To kill you, a single finger is enough, but to kill you would be too easy. I will skin you alive and put it on a dog's body." He didn't want to kill Long Fei that quickly. It made him unhappy. He would make the other party even more unhappy. The third of the 3 sisters said anxiously, "What are you doing here? You are not his match. The 3 of you should hurry up and leave. We don't need your help anymore." Long Fei walked onto the stage and stood in front of the 3 sisters and said, "Since you guys are here, I won't leave." Leave? What kind of joke was this? Quest no more. He wasn't going to kill the boss. You don't want the violet gold Godguard's armor? If he had left, Long Fei would not have left the city from the beginning. Old man Huang also laughed sinisterly. Leave? Do you think those 3 useless humans can leave? At this moment, the few humans who were still alive suddenly escaped. Old man Huang grabbed with his 5 fingers. Shua! A black energy current shot out from his 5 fingers and directly crushed a human's head. You want to leave? Humph! Do you humans want to get away with it? His methods were cruel, and his strength was incomparably powerful. His cultivation was at least at senior realm. It was easy to kill someone in the air. Only the powerhouse S could do it. Tandapeo and Su Su secretly tightened their eyes when they saw the dead human. Long Fei was very calm. He smiled lightly and said, "I will not rest until I achieve my goal. My goal is also very simple, which is to kill you." The 3 sisters were stunned as they looked at Long Fei. Ha ha! Ha! Many people from the Night Valley clan all laughed out loud. A trash of the general level wants to kill someone? Didn't your mother tell you before that the lowest level warrior of our Night Valley are all at the spiritual realm? You want to kill someone in the general level? Wow, this is too terrifying. Kid, how are you going to kill me? With your mouth. Ha ha! A person like you who overestimates his own abilities will not live past one day in our Night Valley. What are you saying? Just kill him. With the cultivation of the general level, did he kill the senior realm? A fantasy story. Old man Huang also could not hold back his laughter. He looked at the 3 sisters and said, "These are the humans that you have captured. Other than their mouths, I did not see a single person on their bodies." The eyes of the 3 Yimei sisters darkened, as well as they said to Long Fei in a low voice, "You are not his match. You should quickly get down from the stage." At this moment, the corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly hooked up. "You like laughing? Then laugh to your heart's content." The idea moved. H, big move. Buzz. H was summoned, and at the same time, he released a gigantic magic crystal arrow. Bam! Locked at close range, instant hit. The ice arrow exploded on Old Man Huang's body. It was as if his entire being was frozen solid, and he fainted. 3.5 seconds. Continue attacking. Long Fei gave an order to H. Beaten magic power. The beaten magic power was activated. His hand were like the wind, gale fist. He attacked with all his might. 10, 12, 19. The damage was so low that it made people's hair stand on ends. Long Fei wanted to die. The boss HP had already reached 100,000 points. How could he kill it with such an attack power? They wouldn't be able to kill him. H's attacks never stopped, but her damage was also limited and could only reach 3 figures. The senior realm was too strong. How could he fight someone who was dozens of levels away? However, even so, Long Fei did not give up. He had used 3.5 seconds of time to the limit. Even if there was 1 point of damage dealt, Long Fei would still do it to the best of his abilities. Long Fei's body sank. The idea moved Go Pikachu. The giant metal ball that was 150 kilograms fiercely smashed outwards, heavily smashing Old Man Huang's body. At the same time, a series of cracking sounds could be heard from the sky. Exquisite steel ball. Boom! A bolt of lightning struck down. 19,322. It could be considered the highest damage, causing Old Man Huang to bleed from his forehead. It was also at this time Long Fei lowered his body and steadied his horse. The stun time was over. Old Man Huang was enraged. He moved his palm, and a dense palm directly struck out. His strength was like the sea. A series of deafening roars sounded out. A palm heavily smashing on a Long Fei's chest, causing his chest to crack and black veins to spread outwards, while Long Fei's entire body was instantly sent flying. The health point above his head had become 0. Dragon God transformation. First form don't die. Buzz. 0 blood won't die. Even if there were no health point left, Long Fei had not died, but it was not absolutely impossible for 0 blood to survive. It only had a certain amount of time to protect. If you cannot recover your health point within this period of time, you will still die. Ding! Beaten magic power energy values accumulation completed. Are you releasing it? 1 palm was already filled with energy. How strong was that palm? Long Fei endured the pain and let out a heavy shout. 10,000 arrows shoot at the same time, slowed down his speed. It was also at this time. Boom! Long Fei rushed up the stage at full speed. Fuck, this daddy will return your palm attack. The killing intent in Old Man Huang's eyes grew stronger. He was angered by the fact that he was unable to kill Long Fei with a single palm, and the power of the senior realm burst forth. Trash human die. Rumble. Palm to palm. A frontal attack. Long Fei was sent flying once again, but a scarlet number floated above Old Man Huang's head. 166272. Critical hit. Style equals display. None. GFBMMJD6 VTL and Mr. 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH slash A5 is LPF and 6 and 6 and 4 Eugenia equals MMP again. Chapter 2830, The Inheritance of the Emperor. Chapter 2830, The Inheritance of the Emperor. He just wouldn't submit. It was tough. So what if you have the senior realm? This father's undying realm. This was the cultivation technique that Black and White had passed on to him. At that time, Long Fei knew that he would need to travel the road ahead of him in the future. Black and White might not help him much. At that time, he didn't say it, but Long Fei understood it clearly in his heart. The Dragon God's transformation was to let Long Fei protect himself well. However, Black and White would never have thought that a madman like Long Fei would actually use the Dragon God's transformation to play this way. In a clash of palms, Long Fei was sent flying once again. However, not dead. It was the same as before. 0 blood didn't die. On the other hand, Old Man Huang staggered a few times. On the surface, he looked exactly the same. One could tell just by looking at the 160,000 damage dealt. The surrounding people were also stunned. Is he crazy? Is this human crazy? Are you sick? What's the situation? Why didn't 2 palms kill him? Isn't he a general-level cultivator? Old Man Huang can kill a whole bunch in 1 move. I don't understand. Why is he still alive? The 3 sisters were also stunned. Seeing Long Fei rush up the stage once again, they did not know what to say, but they were stunned. Tandapeo was also confused. He's getting stronger again, and Brother Fei is getting stronger again. Holy shit, he's just a freak. How much time has passed for him to actually be able to fight against the senior realm? Susu didn't care about all that. Instead, He looked at H with a jealous expression, looking at her breasts, then at himself, then at her figure, then at himself, then at her appearance and temperament, and then at himself. Complete defeat. Susu muttered to herself. When did we hide such a demoness? How many things do I not know? Very depressed. How preposterous. I'd like to see how many moves you can take. The old man Huang was furious to the extreme. He had not killed Long Fei in 2 consecutive moves and had even sustained light injuries himself, causing his anger to roil about. His hands sank. Buzz, buzz, buzz. One after another, dark forces emerged from the ground. The people of Night Valley Clan's face changed. Ghost power. The old man Huang is angry. That kid won't be able to take it this time. Prepare to die, boy. Ghost power was a taboo power within the Night Valley clan. However, from Long Fei's point of view, it was not a ghost power at all, but a power of Nether, a type of super force of Ming clan. Night Valley is Ming clan? Long Fei became anxious. Didn't they say that the universal realm no longer has any power from the Ming clan? Is it just the same power? Ming clan had been suppressed by the God's tribe, and it could be said that it had completely collapsed. Beneath the might of heaven, Ming Clan S were not allowed to exist. Long Fei did not think too much about it. Glancing at the time of the Dragon God's transformation, his heart secretly tightened as well. He flipped his left hand. Buzz! A purplish-black flame faintly twined around his palm. At this moment, the God's tribe S on Long Fei's chest shone with light. Buzz! As long as he used the power of the ancient inheritance, the curse mark in Long Fei's body would be activated. Within the Night Valley, the glow of the curse mark on Long Fei's body did not attract any attention. There was only one person that no one noticed. Old Night King, who was originally on the brink of death, suddenly sat up from the bed, his eyes full of spirit and vitality, staring at Long Fei. You dog, die! The old man Huang roared. Without waiting for Long Fei to rush up the stage, he took the lead and rushed forward first, the ghost power in his hands pouncing towards Long Fei like 100,000 evil spirits. It was locked on all sides. When the old man Huang landed, the ghost power immediately rushed out, and all of the energy rushed towards Long Fei. The ghost power, right? I'll let you experience what a super force of Ming Clan is. With a flip of his left hand, the flames of the Netheresian black flame directly exploded, causing the entire cave of the Night Valley to instantly turn dark. The dark black flames on Long Fei's hands suppressed all of the light. The flames rushed out, tore apart the ghost power, and smashed onto Old Man Huang's chest. At the same time, the ghost power was also wildly rushing towards Long Fei's body. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood, and his body was once again flung out. Old Man Huang also retreated consecutively, as his face became incomparably pale. A black ball of flame ignited on his chest as the space between his eyebrows sunk and the power within his body fiercely exploded. Buzz! A powerful Venerable One's power surged out from the pubes, extinguishing the black flames on his chest. Long Fei was secretly surprised. It could burn Lien when shouted death, but it was destroyed by the power of the old man Huang. Seems like the damage from the Netherworld Black Flame can't be that much higher than what it's capable of, and that's also because of the rank. Long Fei's heart tensed up. He had already used all of the techniques he could use. H's injuries were not enough. The Pikachu had not evolved at all. The beaten magic power was cold. The damage from the Gale Fist was insufficient. He was unable to continuously release the Netherworld Black Flame in such a short period of time. Now, he didn't have any energy that he could use. Not only that, Long Fei still needed a hand to protect his chest, so the light of the curse mark below his chest continued to be released. It was just that he did not think about the curse imprint on the God's tribe. Old Man Huang's aura stabilized, and his eyes became bloodshot. He looked at Long Fei and said, "I was wondering how a mere human like you could possess such powerful strength. So that's how. So that's how it is. To think that you would still, not waiting for him to finish. The old man on the bed suddenly laughed excitedly. Ha ha ha, ha ha. His laughter instantly covered the old man Huang's voice, so much so that no one heard what he said afterwards. Everyone from Night Valley clan was shocked. Night King? What? Why does it look like it's alive? His face was red, and he didn't look like he was going to die at all. Old man Huang's gaze also sank. If Night King did not die, then he would not be able to get the upper hand. However, he was sure that Night King would not live for long. After being struck by that purple ball of light, everyone other than Night King died. Moreover, he had examined the Night King's injuries, so it was impossible for them to survive. We're waiting. We're finally here. Ha! Red light flashed in Night King's eyes. His aura was rolling from head to toe, and before anyone could react, he suddenly made a grabbing motion with his hand. He retrieved the item through the air. In this instant, Long Fei's body was unable to control himself and was sucked in by an incomparably strong ball of energy. Bam! In a split second, it was sucked into Night King's hand. Long Fei's heart sank. Without waiting for Long Fei to worry, Night King said solemnly, "I have finally waited for you." Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Yi Wang's power suddenly erupted, and a red light shot out. Soon after, countless of power directly entered Long Fei's body. Power of the Emperor. The inheritance of the Emperor. Style equals display. None. GFBMMJD 6 VTL Mr 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH slash 8 to 5 LPF and N 6 and 6 and 4 HKV Jr. equals Old Man Huang roared. And no. Chapter 28:31. It's your time to go on stage. Chapter 28:31. It's your time to go on stage? No. No. When Old Man Huang saw the power from Old Night King's body continuously entering Long Fei's body, he nearly went berserk, as if he had gone berserk. He glared angrily with both eyes, as though his eyeballs were about to pop out from their sockets. Obviously, he was enraged to the extreme. The power from the Old Night King's body was transferred into Long Fei's body. What was this? Inheritance. Inheritance of the Emperor. The legacy of the Old Night King's lifetime worth of cultivation. Not just strength. Most importantly, the Night King's inheritance was not so angry just based on strength alone. The Night King's inheritance was the place where he was angry. Now, even if he won, he wouldn't be able to become the Night King, because the Night King's legacy is already surging into Long Fei's body. Old Man Huang went crazy. The surrounding Night Valley clan people were also stunned. In their shock, they were stunned by what they saw. Why? Why did he choose a human? What is the Old Night King doing? Why did you choose him? That doesn't make sense. Is he making a human a Night King? Then what did our Night Valley become? They all looked at each other, not knowing what was happening. The Yimei sisters also looked at their father, who was standing far away. They did not know why their father would suddenly do such a thing. It was completely against common sense. Tandapeo's face was filled with excitement. "You're awesome, my brother, huh? Now, you must be completely dumbfounded." Although he did not know what had happened, he could tell from Old Man Huang's angry eyes that the person Old Night King had chosen was not Old Man Huang, but Long Fei. If one were to say that they were shocked and stupefied, Long Fei himself was the same. Being inexplicably sucked in, his body was completely out of his control, tightly sucked in by a skeletal hand. Furthermore, before he could even agree, a huge energy had already seeped into his body, and at this moment, Long Fei's instinctual subconsciousness resisted. It was because he was afraid that someone would take his body. However, resistance was useless, and the defense created by his body was destroyed in an instant. The difference in level was too great. Also at this time, the Old Night King used a voice that only Long Fei could hear and said, "Brat, don't resist, don't struggle, don't do anything." When he spoke, he was somewhat out of breath. It was the kind of dying gasp. Long Fei was puzzled. "Senior, what are you trying to do?" The Old Night King smiled excitedly and said, "I want you to become the king of our Night Valley clan and lead us to live on in the universal realm." King of Night Valley? Me? Long Fei was startled and asked, Why? Why me? I'm not from your Night Valley clan. It was very strange. In Long Fei's heart, he still thought that this old Night King must have been muddle-headed and chose the wrong person. After all, it was hard to say how sick he was. However, the blood in your body contains the blood of the Ming clan. You are the descendant of the Ming clan and are also the successor of the ancient inheritance, so I did not choose wrong. I have been waiting my entire life for your return, Master Pluto. His voice was filled with excitement. If not for the fact that he was transferring power to Long Fei, Old Night King would have knelt down excitedly. Long Fei's eyes turned cold. You can tell. The Old Night King said, You can't be wrong. Our Night Valley clan is also a descendant of the Ming clan. The flame that was released from your palm just now is the power of the third stage of the ancient inheritance. Only Pluto has the power of the ancient inheritance, and you are definitely the reincarnation of Pluto. You will be the king of darkness. I beg of you to lead us to the Night Valley clan. His face was filled with piety. Moreover, his tone was filled with pleading. What kind of tall existence was the king of hell? Old Night King was so excited that tears almost flowed out. Long Fei was also slightly stunned. He knew that he was not the reincarnation of the king of hell, nor was he anything else. He was Long Fei. Who would have thought that he actually thought of her as Pluto? Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, Old Night King pleaded again. Your Majesty, Night Valley has been hiding in the darkness of western regions and has not seen the light of day all year. I believe that under your lead, the glory of Ming clan will definitely come once again. I, Night Valley clan, will once again become your subordinate. About that, Long Fei said in embarrassment. He wasn't the king of hell at all. Old Night King said solemnly, I beg of you. Although Night Valley clan is currently very weak, she will definitely become strong and will definitely be able to help you. I beg you, bring them along, or else my Night Valley clan will not be able to survive for long in Universal Realm. Long Fei also did not hesitate anymore and nodded. All right, I agree. Old Night King became even more excited and said, Thank you. Thank you. At this moment, Old Man Huang, who was extremely furious, exploded with power. Like a ball of black flames, his body instantly flew into the air and smashed down with his palm towards Old Night King's forehead. You old bastard, how did you promise me that? The Night King's inheritance is mine, and your Emperor's power is mine as well. But now that you've given it to someone else, you should just go and die. Boom! A palm descended with incomparable strength. It directly hit the center of Old Night King's brows. Puffed. Old Night King did not reveal any expression of pain. Instead, he looked at Long Fei with excitement and said, From now on, he is the new king of Night Valley. Not waiting for him to finish, Old Man Huang's fury was completely stoked, and she once again smashed her palm down. Old thing, go and die. Bam! 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 With a palm strike, he sent it flying. Old Night King's body also fell down. There was no pain, but his face was full of excitement. He had done what he had to do and said what he had to do. The Emperor's cultivation had already reached Long Fei's body. Night King's inheritance was the same. More importantly, Long Fei had promised him, Father, Father. The triplets' sisters rushed forward, not waiting for them to get close. Old Man Huang's gaze swept over them, and the venerable one's chi on his body exploded as he shouted, Scram to the side. Buzz! The three sisters were directly sent flying by the powerful force. Old Man Huang grabbed with his 5 fingers and directly grabbed the dying Old Night King. Raising him up to the air, he said sinisterly, Old thing, you actually dare to lie to me? All right, I will let you know the consequences of lying to me. With the power of his 5 fingers, he stabbed them straight into Old Night King's head. Crack! Crack! The skull exploded. Style equals display. None. GFBMMJD6 VTL and Mr. 7X plus CAJFRXMLDLWH slash 6 and 4 Junior equals the old Night King was the same as before. He had no expression of pain, and even if he died in the end, he was still very calm. At the very last moment, he sent a voice to Long Fei with a hint of a smile on his lips. It's your turn to go up. Chapter 2832, Instant Killer. Chapter 2832, Instant Killer absorbing the Emperor's cultivation required a certain amount of time. Night King's inheritance was the same. Moreover, Long Fei was different from normal warriors. What he needed to level up was not any energy, nor was it some powerful inheritance. What he needed to break through was experience points. Bringing a large amount of powerful energy into his body, he was unable to transform it into experience points at all. Even if he were to absorb it now, he wouldn't be able to become a king powerhouse. He was very troubled. How do we do this? System bro, give me a hint. Long Fei didn't know what to do. There were similar scenes in the movies, but they were all about imparting power and becoming stronger in an instant. What do I do? Very depressed. There was no way at all. Just when Long Fei couldn't think of a way to change the Emperor's cultivation to experience points, a voice came from behind the old Night King. Long Fei's eyes darkened. He was using his death to help her. Even if he died, he wanted to grant Long Fei's wish. Because killing the Night King was a capital offense and unforgivable. If Old Man Huang could kill Old Man Huang in front of so many people, then no one would dare oppose Long Fei. This favor, Long Fei had no choice but to accept. But how was he going to get it? He did not even convert the Emperor's cultivation into a rank. He was not a match for the senior realm. However, all men have fire. Seeing Old Night King's head being grabbed and shattered in midair, Long Fei's anger exploded like a volcano. F***CK. I'm going to throw caution to the wind. In that instant, Long Fei looked down from above and suddenly dove down. The three sisters charged towards their father, disregarding everything else. Old Man Huang swept the area with his cold gaze and said sinisterly, "All of you go die." Buzz. The aura emanating from his body became an incomparably strong pressure. Both of his hands grabbed forward, and the incomparably dense ghost power on his palms continuously compressed and revolved, forming a huge ball of ghost power energy. Elder Huang, what are you trying to do? This is the Night King's palace. What are you trying to do? Kill Night King. Do you still want to destroy the Night King's palace? How dare you? Stop right now. Elder Huang, did you hear that? The Night Valley clan people were all furious. However, no one dared to go up because they were afraid of the incomparably strong ghost power in the Old Man Huang's hands. You bunch of trash. Once you see the Night King's inheritance to a trash of a human, no one can stop you. You don't deserve to be the Night Valley clan's people. No one here is worthy. Night King's Hall. Ha! I want this place to become ruins. It was savage like a madman. The three sisters were the first to rush over. They only wanted to take their father's body away, but Old Man Huang's gaze turned sinister as he shouted, "Three bitches!" Boom! Bang! With a loud noise, three energies bound the three Yimei sisters and directly gripped their throats. The three of them were lifted into the air. Whoa! Cough, cough! Instantly, his face turned pale and his four limbs twitched. Was simply restrained before it could even get close, and the power of the Old Man Huang was not simple. Quickly stop. Elder Huang, do you really want to rebel? Stop. A few elders shouted. Tandapeo's face was filled with displeasure. I only know how to say it. While they were talking, Tandapeo pulled the trigger, and two dense spirit-breaking curse energy cannons shot out. At the same time, Su glanced at Long Fei, took out a small bead from the space ring, and said loudly, "Breaking Might Pearl, explode for me." Whoosh! A small bead exploded in the sky above the Old Man Huang. At this moment, the might he released was instantly shattered, as though a barrier had been broken. Long Fei's sea of consciousness slightly improved, as he rushed towards Old Man Huang at an even faster speed. The Old Man Huang looked coldly at Su Su, and then stared at the rushing Long Fei, and said coldly, "Everything was because of you. You dog of a human, go and die." Buzz! The ghost power on his palm exploded. Roar! Tisk tisk! All kinds of ghastly wails sounded out, and the ghost power was like a giant wave that flipped through the sky as it cleaved towards Long Fei, incomparably powerful. This power, Long Fei looked at his immortal transformation. Time had already passed. His current health point, with the help of the Spring of Life, recovered not even 10%. Facing such a huge palm, he couldn't withstand it. It would be instantly killed. But at this moment, Long Fei did not think of anything else. He just wanted to be tough. This was the chance Old Night King had given him with her life. "I can't miss it." Long Fei gritted his teeth. "MMP, power, power, give me strength." It didn't matter. Long Fei clenched his teeth and released all the power he could muster from his body. He slammed his palms into it, releasing a furious roar. His long hair flew in the air. His clothes made an explosive sound. The entire Night King Hall and even the entire Night King Valley were shaking. Sand and rocks flew. It was hard for him to open his eyes. The two forces clashed into one another, which was bizarre. There was no explosion. There was only a muffled bang. The ghost power was instantly torn apart. Not far away, Old Man Huang's expression was lifeless, a strand of power. Carrying the power of the incomparably powerful Emperor's Qi, it heavily smashed onto his body. He did not have the time to react at all, and was directly sent flying. Bam! His entire body was caved in as he hung on the rock, and his internal organs were all shattered. Blood continued to drip from the corner of his mouth. Staring at Long Fei, her eyes were filled with puzzlement and disbelief. However, right now, even if you were to stare at it, it would be of no use because the gash on his head had instantly dried up. Slowly, bam, his body fell from the rocks and crashed to the ground. Dead. Long Fei was also dumbstruck. Looking at his own palm, he was certain that the energy that Black and White had not released just now was completely within his own body. Emperor, could it be the Imperial power? Only the Imperial power could instantly kill the Senior Realm. There was only one explanation. The power of the Emperor's inheritance of the Old Night King erupted just a moment ago. Ha! Long Fei was ecstatic and secretly said, "To think that it would be an instant kill. It's that simple, haha. The Imperial power is truly amazing." At that moment, Long Fei thought that he would die. But, no matter what, he would still send out that palm attack. He could not allow Old Night King to die for nothing. Furthermore, he couldn't let the triplets feel despair. He had to go up just now. He just hadn't thought that he would be instantly killed. Too handsome. It was also at this time that Long Fei looked at the corpse of the Old Man Huang in the distance. The corners of his mouth slightly curled up as he became secretly excited. Boss, it's going to die. System, let's have an unprecedented explosion. The system beep rang. Ding. Come. The system beep is ringing for me. Long Fei was a little excited. After all, this was the boss of the Senior Realm. The difference in levels was huge. They weren't bosses that he could kill with his current level, so they would definitely drop. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing the great clan elder of Night Valley for obtaining 100 million experience points, 1 million true spiritual value, and 1 universal value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ghost power. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Nightblade. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the soul-breaking halberd. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Night Spirit Pill. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for killing a special level boss and obtaining a special reward. Reward God, Any Road. Buzz! The system interface suddenly changed. There were a few drums on his back and a golden stick in his hand. This shape, Long Fei was too familiar with it. The god of the island inside the One Piece, Any Road. the controller of the thunder fruit. It could be said to be extremely powerful and at the abnormal level. Could he be the same as H and Xiao Qian and can summon them as well? Long Fei's heart tensed up. If one were to compare the power of a lightning fruit to what Annie Road could think of obtaining, even 10 lightning fruits would not be comparable to one Annie Road. He was too domineering. Person, Annie Road loyalty, 1-star attribute, lightning damage, 9-star special attribute, teleportation kill. A series of descriptions by the system. Haha, the reward from the system will be great this time. Long Fei was extremely excited. H did not obtain Long Fei's void space and immediately returned to the system's dimension. Low loyalty means instability. Long Fei muttered. He had returned to the system space before the time of summoning even ended, which meant that he was not stable yet. However, the moment H returned to the system dimension, a system notification sounded out. Ding! System notification. H has leveled up. Ding! System notification. H buys Infinity Sword. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for being a seed of the Hero Alliance. What's going on? H can still level up, which is true. The system didn't say that she couldn't level up, and with his help, she could also kill a few people. It was normal for her to level up as a character in the game, but she can even buy equipment? Damn it, did he bring the shops in the game with him? Furthermore, he was able to equip his own equipment and buy the Infinity Sword all of a sudden. Is this the explosive output? Long Fei was dumbstruck. However, what shocked him even more was not the fact that H had leveled up and bought the equipment, but the Hero Alliance seeds. What is this? Looking at the system's description of the Hero Alliance seeds, Long Fei mumbled to himself. Once the seeds are released, they can grow in the Hero Alliance game. When they grow to a certain degree, they can trigger a large-scale teleportation and can summon over 100 heroes from the Hero Alliance game. When Long Fei saw this, he was dumbfounded. Summon all of you here. Over 100 heroes. I'll go. Is this the formation of the Hero Alliance army? This is F** King going to the heavens. Long Fei was stunned, completely dumbfounded. According to the system's description, as long as the Hero Alliance seed was planted, once it grew to a certain degree, all of the heroes in the game would be summoned. How much is this? This wasn't it. The beautiful Nia Xiaoqian. Could it be that he could also level up and obtain a seed? Would he also be able to take Yin Qixia, Monster Heishan? Forget about Ning Kaichun. He had no fighting strength. Summon them? And the Annie Road he just obtained? Then wouldn't he be able to summon all the characters from the One Piece? Gudong. Long Fei did not dare to think further, because he was almost unable to control himself. Damn. Universal Realm? God's Tribe? Ancient World? I want to cultivate my own power? Cultivate a ghost. With these games, the bosses in the anime can immediately mess up Universal Realm. However, this was just the beginning. This was the Grand Mist system. It had completely different attributes from the previous Call Card S. Now, even Long Fei couldn't help but praise the person that the system had set. This thinking, this consciousness is too awesome. It's exactly the same as what I imagined, ha ha ha. He couldn't help but become narcissistic. He had once thought about what it would be like if all sorts of powerful figures were brought to the same plane. The characters in the ancient legends of the earth were in a different world. Tathagata Buddha, Jade Emperor, Sun Wukong. These powerful people and the characters in the anime world, Oitsuki Hagoromo, second-generation Fire Shadow, Ninetales, the great generals of the One Piece, the four emperors had all gathered together. And under his leadership, they were going to sweep across the entire universe. Ha! If it could really be like this, then it would be awesome, ha! Long Fei could not help but become excited, and according to his understanding of the system, it might actually be like this. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Elementalist level, 3. Obtaining 100 million special experiences from killing Old Man Huang would allow Long Fei to break through in an instant. After leveling up, the injuries all over his body would instantly heal. It was also at this time Tandapeo muttered. Brother Fei, why is it that expression again? Susu said with a face full of infatuation. So handsome. The man I like is indeed handsome. Hee hee. The three twin sisters placed the old Night King's corpse down, then walked in front of Long Fei. At this moment, everyone looked at Long Fei. Everyone from Night Valley clan looked at Long Fei without saying a word. Their hearts were in chaos. Long Fei was a human, but now he had obtained the Night King's inheritance. It was also at this time. The three sisters suddenly knelt in front of Long Fei. Greetings, Night King. As soon as he finished, the entire audience was so quiet that even a pin drop could be heard. Many of the Night Valley clan people looked at each other. Then an elder stood up and knelt down and said, We pay our respects to Lord Night King. Next, many people from the Night Valley clan began to kneel down. Finally, all of the Night Valley clan kneeled down and said in unison, We pay our respects to Night King. Night King, Night King, Night King. His voice was getting louder and louder. Although Long Fei was a human, he took revenge for the old man Huang. Moreover, he was the chosen one from the old Night King. After obtaining the Night King's inheritance, even if the people from the Night Valley clan didn't recognize him, they would at least admit it. Long Fei's gaze swept the area. Since he had already agreed, he did not refuse and said, From today onwards, I will be the king of Night Valley. I will lead the people of the Night Valley clan to the peak and stand at the top of this world. Night King, Night King, Night King. The crowd became even more excited. In another place, Grandfather, the Night King Valley is right in front of us. Lien Wuchao laughed excitedly. Behind him, over 10,000 Lien family disciples had already surrounded the entire Night King Valley. Tell me something. In the first chapter, chapter 2607, Tong Shun was killed, but the next chapter resurrected because of Hai Yang's negligence, causing everyone to be unable to read. Hai Yang was extremely sorry, but there was no way to change it now, and Hai Yang apologized once again, but I'll try my best to avoid this kind of low-level mistake next time. At the same time, I also thank that reaction reader, and thank you for your sincerity. Table of Contents, section error. Click on this report. No registration. After reporting, the maintenance personnel will correct chapter content within 2 minutes. Please wait patiently and refresh the page. Chapter 2834. The Same Three Sisters. Chapter 2834. The same three sisters' Lien family did not notice that the army had surrounded them. Moreover, Night Valley clan people would always be in the underground palace during the day, and with the appearance of the new king of Night Valley, many of the Night Valley clan people would celebrate and relax their vigilance outside the valley. I still can't control it. It feels very ethereal. Why is this happening? Long Fei was troubled. He clearly had imperial power in his body, but he just did not know how to control it. He tried a few times, but was unable to release the imperial power. The moment he killed the old man Huang, he was lucky. However, it was too dangerous. Long Fei could not release this power every time he was on the verge of death. He had to learn how to grasp this power. Fire. Boom. A muffled sound was not released. Long Fei slightly retracted his aura and once again moved his entire body and mind, adjusting the strength in his body and exploding forth. Wong. The sound of air exploding was produced by the power of the general level. The imperial power did not erupt. It hurts. How exactly do I control this powerful force? Long Fei frowned as he opened the system to check. He wanted to find the answer from the system, but the system was not omnipotent, and it could not solve this problem. My lord, a soft voice came from outside. Long Fei withdrew his aura and said, Come in. Yi Mei and the other two sisters entered the room and bowed respectfully. Big Sister said, Thank you, Master, for avenging our father. Thank you, my lord. The other two also said at the same time. Long Fei said, This is what I should be doing. Looking at the exclamation mark that was still floating above their heads, Long Fei was surprised. Oh yes, I still have a mission, but now that old man Huang is dead, I should be able to complete it, right? It was rather strange. According to the mission set, if Old Man Huang died, the mission should be completed. However, the system had yet to notify him that the quest had been completed. Could it be because I have become a king of Night Valley? Long Fei's heart tightened. He looked at the three of them and said, I am a human. I want to return to the human world in the future. I hope that the position of king of Night Valley will be. Long Fei wanted to see if he could trigger the completion of the mission. It was just that, without waiting for him to finish, Big Sister immediately said, You are someone Father has chosen. No matter where you are, no matter what race you are still our Lord Night King. You have a Night King's legacy with you. You are our Night King. The task did not complete triggering. Long Fei said, Night King. This Night King was a little too weird, and if it wasn't for him killing the Old Man Huang in one move, even if he had Night King's legacy, it would be useless. In this world, only strength mattered. He could kill Old Man Huang in an instant and temporarily suppress the people of Night Valley Clan. But what about in the future? Long Fei looked at the three of them and asked, What rights does Night King have? Big Sister said, Night King is the emperor of the Night Valley Clan. His words are orders. He can order all the people in the Night Valley Clan to do anything. Is that so? Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Then the three of you should take off your veils. The three sisters were stunned. Big Sister looked at Long Fei and hesitated for a moment, then said, As you command. Big Sis. Big Sister. The two little sisters looked at her. Long Fei really wanted to know their appearances, but he simply wanted to know without any other intentions. Big Sister said with a slight smile, Night King's words are orders. We must follow them. After saying that, she gently took off the black veil covering her face, revealing her true appearance. Her blue, crystalline eyes shone with an alluring light. Her cheeks were white, without a single blemish. She looked like an unforgettable existence. It had a kind of fresh and refined beauty. Her beauty was different from Lan Mei's, Su Su's, and Queen of Blood Moon's. It looked somewhat ordinary, but it was not to such an extent that it was breathtaking. But after Elder Sister took off her veil, the other two also took off their veils. The three of them were exactly the same. If one person could be said to only look beautiful, it was not at all breathtaking, but when the three of them stood together, it was even more unforgettable. Triplets. The same triplets. His looks, hair, and clothes could all be said to be exactly the same. Long Fei couldn't see any difference at all. At least he couldn't see through them. The other two were like shadows. Long Fei was dumbstruck. After looking at it a few times, he finally came back to reality and said in shock, It's exactly the same. Completely captivated. Take a good look. The youngest one pursed his lips. Little sister, don't be unreasonable. The eldest young mistress scolded him. The younger sister said, Big Sis, does he not know what it means when we take off our veils? This means that we... Without waiting for her to finish, Elder Sister glared at her, reprimanding her for saying more. Then we won't disturb your rest any longer. The three sisters withdrew from the room. After leaving the room, the three girls immediately put on their veils. Big Sis stopped and said softly, If even we do not respect the Lord Night King, then who else can? He is our benefactor. Mission reason, we cannot refuse anything. Big Sister spoke with a heavy tone. The little sister muttered, Young mistress, we have taken off our veils to a man, and we are going to marry him. This is the oath we made to be his veils. We're all going to take off our veils to a man at the same time. Are we all going to marry the same man? The second brother said slightly, Lord Night King is pretty good. Being able to marry him is also not bad. At least we won't be separated. If Old Man Huang were to become the Night King, our fates would definitely be unimaginable. The three women were slightly surprised. Back then, because they looked too similar, even his father could not identify them, so he wore a veil. The moment they put on their veils, they also made a vow. In the future, they would only take off their veils towards the man they loved and prevent themselves from being mistaken. But now, the three of them took off their veils at the same time and faced the same person. According to the oath, They should be married to Long Fei. Of course, Long Fei did not know about all these. I still haven't completed my mission. Is there something else I haven't done? After the three sisters left, Long Fei stared at the system's S-level quest in a daze. There was only 1 day left, and it had already been half a day. He would be killed by the system. In other words, he still had half a life left. Holy sh**t. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart went cold. Is there anything else? What else hadn't been done? Big Brother system. The penalty for your quest must be a joke, right? It must be a joke. Long Fei was a little worried. At this moment, Susu walked into the room. He was extremely excited as he said, "Big Brother Long Fei, I found it." Long Fei was suspicious and asked, "What did you find?" Susu said, "I found that gigantic purple gold light. It's the largest one. We're going to be on fire." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.